Hopefully it is. If not, I'll have to work on something. There you go. Great, awesome. So 20 to 17, and we see a blank for Dustin. Blank AEFIIO. So that was a good draw from OE. Did draw 2 I's, but the blank makes up for that and more. But it's going to be weird to try and find a play here. Because, yeah, the letters Dustin has are not very workable. But because he drew the blank, that's okay. Even if he has to exchange on this turn, or if he decides to exchange, drawing that blank is going to benefit him in the next turn or two. But he's lined up oaf. I think he's thinking of playing that on top of the AYA, making oat, AY, and FA. That does keep IIE blank, which isn't terrible, but those duplicated I's are not what any player wants to keep on their rack. So now he's looking at FIE. I think he's going to play that with BE. Yeah, that's a sensible choice as well. Keeping 3 unique vowels instead of the duplicated I. So I like that decision. 18 points. And Chris Sykes drawing pretty well, actually, I would say. A pretty balanced rack to his leave of IO. And he has one standout play. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. This is not a word. This is not a word, but it is one of the most often played phonies I have ever seen. Caryatid. Caryatid is good with the A. I don't know if he's being held. I don't know if Dustin is even questioning this. I would not be surprised if Dustin's like, yeah, that looks like a word, because it does. Caryatid is a word. Karyotin is a word with the N instead of the D. But this one is not valid. Wow, I didn't even see that. But like, this basically could just be a word because it resembles so many words. So this is really interesting. Because yeah, it's not going to be challenged. And the question is, are either of the players going to put an S on it later? And will that be challenged? So basically, I feel like we should just act like this is a word. Because, I mean, it just so looks like a word. I have a story about this word, actually. Wow. I have a story about this word. Oh, are we live? When did we go live? Doesn't matter. I was playing, actually, was it here? It may very well have been in this very hotel in Albany where I was playing a game of anagrams with a bunch of really strong players, and one of them, Stefan Rao, found the word caryatid, and nobody questioned it. Like normally in anagrams, you just look up every word that someone like tries to use, just in case like it's not a word. And like you don't do that in Scrabble. You have to maybe threaten to lose a turn or threaten to take a play off the board. So the difference between checking a word in a casual game of anagrams and challenging it in a game of Scrabble is pretty large. So the fact that even this word got by in a game where there are no stakes associated with checking words is pretty incredible. So caryatid not valid. Caryatid with an A instead of an O. Karyotin with an N instead of a T. That is, yeah. I'm pretty sure both players will be really, really, really surprised to learn that this isn't even a word. But it was also, I also played it, I think, against Jason Lee in a game as well. Anywho, let's move on. But Kino looks to be the choice by Dustin. He did have, oh no, this is not good. I keep having to reload my Quackle. It's really annoying. Yeah, this might be a non-starter. Kino is the choice by Chris Sykes. No, by Dustin Dean. I'm just having a little bit of issues here. as we're starting off, but it's okay. I'm not even going to worry about that. It's Dustin's turn again. A-A-D-E-N-O blank. It's not Dustin's turn. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Louis Ian is the rack for Chris Sykes. Working through a little bit of issues here. That's okay. Oh, and a suggestion of Enoki and Kabaya. Yes, the K-hook on Kabaya is really cool. Okay. In any case, we will move on from here. It's Chris's turn. He has E-E-I-L-N-O-U, which is not a very good rack. I wonder what he should do. He does have the 20-point lead, so he could exchange if he wants to. He could play something like Illusion through the TI, keeping EI. Huh. Inutile. Inutil is how I would pronounce that. Is also playable through the TI. Interesting. But he's decided to play Louis. Louis and Oak, which makes perfect sense to me. And back to Dustin, who has at least adenoma playable, making Cal or LA. So making the blank an M, you could score 69 points on either side of the L of Louis. And that looks pretty good to me. Oh, this is great. I'm not gonna even be looking at the choices. I'm gonna let people watching choose or point out plays that I might miss. Because yeah, in my haste of trying to get this stream set up, I did have to add a lexicon to my analysis software that we're using to show you the scores and everything. And in doing so, it seems like I have weakened the structure of the engine I'm using, which is already prone to crashing at times. So I'm not going to be looking at any other choices than the ones that I find. So I'm going to have to really be analyzing this game. I could also use another analysis tool maybe. Okay, so Oda is the choice. So adenoma looks like it is a miss by Dustin. That isn't the easiest word to spot. And Oda keeping the blank is a pretty strong move anyway. So still trailing by 20 points, though Dustin did have the chance to wow. Why is Chris so fast? Sometimes he's just so fast. He just puts like a play down almost immediately. It's pretty intimidating. But I wonder, he was thinking about playing Teardown, but he's chosen instead to play one of its anagrams. There's another anagram down rate that does not fit on this board. But yeah, I guess he was just like, that's got to be the only thing I can do here. So this would have happened anyway, even if Dustin had found his bingo last turn. But yeah, looks like Dustin's probably gonna find something here. Let's see. So he has Defiant. That doesn't fit. He has. Doesn't he have anything like ending in ED? Maybe not. Fainted. What am I talking about? Okay, at least I found it before him. So yeah, Defiant has an anagram, of course. fainted. And that will fit nicely above the DA of Danewort. Putting the F on the double letter score, doubling the whole word. How much does that score? 84 points. We will get his bingo down. I was saying that even if Dustin had played Adenoma last move, Chris would have probably done the same thing. Played his bingo. So Dustin would still be behind a little bit. But yeah, fainted looks to be the correct choice here. Oh, Adenoma played underneath FIE as well. Yeah, man. If I'm going to be playing this, I am playing this event starting tomorrow. This is the early bird for those just joining. I better be finding these sorts of moves. But yeah, I think we did miss the intro a little bit. We weren't quite live. But I'm Josh Sokol, for those joining on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. I'll be commentating these rounds, just these last 3 rounds. So we do want to get the stats fixed. The actual win-loss ratio of these two players is 3-1-0 to 1-3-0. The third O being ties, which are very unlikely. And the reason we're showing this game is actually in this current round, 4 players are at 3-1, I think, and 4 players are at 1-3. So it's actually, I guess the top 4 players are way likelier to place or win than the bottom 4. But I think they're all playing each other, which means if the bottom 4 win their games, it will be 3-2 to 2-3. So I think it might even be possible that within 2 rounds, like the tables turn, and any of these players could potentially win. It might be really, really tight after 7 rounds. But yeah, right now this is round 5 of 7. So Dustin just drew the second blank. I just noticed that. That must feel really good. He's probably now going to play something with caryotids. And if Chris Sykes has the wherewithal to challenge, Dustin does that, be amazing. It'd be amazing content. The opaque is a very nice find from Chris Sykes for 38 points. I like that. He would have wanted to be able to play something overlapping the INT of fainted, but that doesn't seem to be possible. So now back to Dustin. Oops. Keep forgetting that I can't do what I want to do. So yeah, Dustin has at least possibility of playing valid words with Daneworts, like sealing, S-E-E-L-I-N-G, S-E-E-L-I-N-G, excuse me. But he's looking at elegies, which plays with caryotids. And I say it plays, but as we saw, karyotid is not a valid word. And yeah, the question is, will Chris Sykes have a eureka moment and challenge the S hook onto the word he played? Because this word, if it is valid, karyotid, for sure would be a noun. For sure it would take an S hook if it was a valid 8-letter word. So to even consider challenging this would be marvelous. Probably a better word for that. But we'll see. I don't know if there was a hold, if our producer could say. But I'm not entirely sure. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens if Dustin draws his tiles and if Chris Sykes makes a move. but it looks like he's on hold. This is crazy that Chris is holding it. I mean, was he purposely playing karyoted as a phony word? That would be amazing. Or was he just playing it being unsure of it? Because he looked pretty sure of it when he played it. But looks can be deceiving. So he's thinking. I don't know, like there maybe is a remote possibility that he thinks maybe karyoted isn't a noun, but that it is a valid 8-letter word. But I'm pretty sure it's either, I mean, Dustin is drawing his courtesy tiles, which means he's going to be able to see the tiles he would have if this play stays on the board. But I think Chris is still considering whether or not to challenge this word. For those new to tournaments, holding and challenging are something you might not be super familiar with. But I wonder what Chris is doing. What is he trying? Is he trying to count previous plays? Yeah, I'm really, really curious to see what happens here. But yeah, Dustin hasn't looked at his tiles, so he's pretty much, I mean, pretty clearly still being held. And yeah, if Chris lets this go, he will be down around 50 points. He does have an S, but he has 2 Gs to go with it. Doesn't really have any fantastic plays that I see. And so he'll clearly be at a disadvantage letting this play go. So like in a vacuum, it's a good idea to at least consider challenging this if you're not sure. It's just crazy that this has occurred. I'm so happy to have witnessed yet another instance of karyoted. If this has happened to me in a game against another top player, in an anagrams game after hours, just having fun, I can't imagine how many more times karyoted has seen the light of day over a Scrabble board, just because it looks like so many different words. So yeah, we just have to wait. I'm not putting the score in yet until Chris Sykes either doesn't challenge or makes a play. But this is a blank E, elegies. E-L-E-G-I-E-S. Yeah, this is an early bird tournament, not because it's early in the day, but because it's a day earlier than the main event. So this did start at around 11:45 this morning, Eastern time. And yeah, that is why it's called an early bird. So Chris has turned the board around. I wonder if he has accepted the play or not. But yeah, let's go back to him. He's in deep thought. What about? Nobody knows. We can imagine what he's thinking about. Dustin looks calm and ready to drop bombs. Okay, I don't know why I'm quoting rap music on a Scrabble stream, but here we are. So let's look. My leggies are shaking with excitement. Epoch and the French époque are basically the same word. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So yeah, welcome to people on YouTube. Welcome to Mopo, A Few Good Taters. Welcome to Smokey, K-Man, Lola, Papagino, Joseph, and Listeam on my Twitch chat. We're now sitting here wondering, and the longer we wonder, the more likely it is that this play of elegies will be accepted. Yeah, so it looks like Agog is being played by Chris Sykes, which looks like a very good play. But let's get this all updated then. But this was a phony that was played by Chris Sykes, karyoted. and was hooked with an S, still phony, by Dustin Dean. And now the scores, the dust has settled. Dustin is up by 32 points, and it is his turn with AAEEORV, which is not a fantastic set of 7 letters, but it's not the worst either. He does have the opportunity to play something like Fovea from the F in FIE on the bottom left of the board, which will shed 3 of his vowels, both of his duplicates, the A and the E, as well as scoring some points and getting rid of that pesky V, which is a really bad tile. And we look at what's unseen to Dustin right above his head, and it is very uneven in favor of consonants. There are only 8 more vowels left unseen to Dustin. So even though he has too many vowels right now, he can probably be slightly happy to see the imbalance, because that means that Chris Sykes is pretty likely to have too many consonants, which indeed, after keeping ELS, which is a very good leave on his last turn, has drawn RRRX, which is very, very bad. It's probably like one of the, in the 98th to 99th percentile of bad draws that he could possibly have had after his play. Maybe not. He does have playable words with the X that score something. But 3 R's in the 4-tile draw is pretty sick. Yeah, that blank in elegies is an E. So we might see an overlapping play hitting that blue, dark blue square, the triple letter score, later in the game. But often when this sort of situation happens where there's an imbalance of vowels and consonants, it gets really difficult for both players near the end of the game, unless one of them is being very astute and keeping every possible vowel that they have. But yeah, it ends up often being really difficult for the player that is trailing, because they're trying to improve their rack, they're trying to maybe draw a bingo, and they're just getting hit by consonants, a wave of consonants. Tell me in chat if you guys prefer having too many vowels or too many consonants, and I will give you my opinion as well, unless the action is too heated and I forget. But a standard Scrabble set comes with 42 vowels, 54 consonants, 2 Ys, and 2 blanks. Or at least that's how I put it. Most people consider the Y a consonant. I don't consider it a consonant or a vowel. I think it's just a type of letter on its own. There are letters that act as vowels that are normally consonants and vice versa, like the U acting like a V. But to me, the Y is just in a league of its own. The champagne glass of letters. I like that. That's what the producer has just sent me. Obviously, that's it. Maybe a double entendre, but at least the Y being shaped like a champagne glass in its capital form might be what is being alluded to. So yeah, in any case, because there are more consonants than vowels, I would say that having too many vowels is better than having too many consonants in general, because the likelihood that you're going to draw more vowels is lower than the likelihood you're going to draw more consonants in general. That is my assessment of the situation. But both kind of suck. Oh, that's a famous quote by a Scrabble player. Okay. So yeah, Dustin's taking a really long time this turn. I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about his clock. He's at around 8 minutes. I know Dustin to be a player that often gets into time trouble. I remember one tournament I played Dustin twice, and he went overtime by 6 minutes and by 9 minutes in our 2 games, which is very unusual. But yeah, he looks to be deciding on Fovea, which to me looks like the right play in this position. Yeah. ERRRLSX for Chris. So he'll have the opportunity to play ERR and Opaker if he wants it. Oh, he's changed. He's changed his mind. I jumped the gun. Never mind. Avo is the play that Dustin has settled on, which actually makes a lot of sense because he might very well have noticed the situation where there are tons of consonants left. So he's keeping 3 vowels and 1 consonant, which is usually not something to do, not something I would recommend doing. But because of the situation with 23 consonants and 8 vowels unseen, I very much like this decision, and he gets rewarded. He draws 3 consonants, 3 good scoring consonants. So Oxer is the response by Chris Sykes for 33, bringing the scores within 20 points. We see that draw. Yeah, it was not likely to improve that much. LRRS being the 4-tile leave of the play of Oxer. And at least Chris drew 1 vowel, but yeah, this does not look very good. He's going to want to play something like Troll next turn if he can, TRULL, which is a very useful 5-letter word in the current situation and in many other situations when you have too many consonants and only 1-point tiles. So ACEEHJR, Dustin definitely in trouble time-wise, but he doesn't need to worry that much about what Chris has coming to him because, like we said, like the consonant situation is just really, really dire, or the vowel situation, and he's making a quick play of Haj. I like this decision. It's a great play, and it's a quick play, which is what you want to do in a situation where you're low on the clock and you have a small lead. You find a good play. Usually I say look for a better one, but in this circumstance, I think this is good enough. So Dustin up by 56 now. Looks like Chris is going to play Troll for 15, which I very much like. And he's going to want to draw some vowels. So we'll see what happens. Oh, 2 vowels drawn on Dustin's end, which is very good. He's probably going to play something like Z for 22, for 32, excuse me, to the E in Oxer, which blocks a little bit and scores very well. But there might be other moves as well. So ahead by 41 with 10 tiles unseen. Dustin is seeming to switch gears here. He almost played Z. He's just looking a little bit longer. Maybe there's some killer play that he's missing. He doesn't see it. So he's putting down Z for 32. And as we see, constant trouble continues for Chris Sykes. This is very unfortunate. So yeah, Z is the play. MNRSSTW. At least that contains 2 S's. So if Chris does decide to exchange, which he can still do, because there are 8 tiles in the bag, then he can keep one of those S's or both of them. But this is a terrible, terrible situation. Maybe something like worms through the O of opaque to open something is a possibility. I like that more than exchanging, given the situation of being down by 73 points. But I don't think there's a very good chance that Chris is going to get out of this. What are you guys saying in chat? Oh yeah, instead of Avo, Arvo with Opaker and Obe. Yeah, that looks much better than Avo. I missed that too. Dustin missed that. I missed that. But nice find by K-Man. In the Twitch chat. How's the YouTube chat doing? Hello to Itchy. Brian B, Tana, Zadreko, Brown, welcome in. I'll try to follow along as much as I can here. Chris Sykes having 12 minutes left is in quite the pickle, as we have just discussed. Not seeing something much better than playing worms for 10 and just praying. Chris doesn't know this, but Dustin has three of the 7 remaining vowels, which isn't the worst thing. It means Chris is likely to draw at least one vowel next turn. But yeah, Mercies is Dustin's rack. So if Chris does something that gives Dustin a spot for Mercies, I mean, that's game over. But also, I mean, what's really unseen, what's really left in the bag is EHINOPUV. EHINOPUV. That is not that good. So yeah, it's good. It's a good time to use a lot of time, as Chris Sykes does have a nice time bank here. I think he started the turn with around 14 minutes. Decides to play Mew for 8, setting up the S hook for Smew, which is a good idea. My issue is he needs 2 vowels for this to work out. See if he gets that. He does, but maybe not the right ones. Yeah, Turion's. I don't think there's a playable bingo through the O of opaque, but this is a good idea, leaving the O open to try and play an 8-letter word through that while setting up an S hook for himself. And he might have another turn after Dustin's play to try and open something else. So this is a situation where it does look very likely that if Dustin plays his tiles right, he will win this game. The problem is, because he's under 4 minutes on the clock, and this is a really sharp tactical situation where Chris is going to try and set up spots to play a bingo, Dustin might mess up. He might trip and fall, stumble, and make the wrong decision, and it might cost him the game. But he looks to be playing CEE, which blocks the Smew plays that were just set up and scores really well. Does leave 1 vowel, so he won't be at the mercy of the consonants as much as Chris has been for the better half of this game. And that's a very good move. So now with 3 tiles left unseen, Chris is going to have to figure out how to do something here. Problem is, he's down by so much now. He's down by almost 100 points, which is why maybe Mew wasn't my preferred decision. I think trying to score a little bit more might have been a better idea, and leave fewer tiles in the bag to minimize Dustin's ability to score himself. But yeah, this is really, really tough. This is 88-point deficit, 3 in the bag. He's gonna have to score something this turn, and just hope for a bingo either from the R and Oxer, which is his preferred method of winning the game, because that 8-letter word would hit a triple word score, or maybe some miracle through the O that catches Dustin with enough points on his rack. But to me, that doesn't really seem very likely, since Dustin has the opportunity to play a very high scoring move on his next turn in multiple spots, which should be enough for him to outscore anything that Chris comes up with. But like I said, there is still some chance that Dustin will fall victim to time trouble. make a mistake and lose the game. It is possible. This is the sort of position where that happens. I know that I've been in situations where my clock is ticking down and I don't know whether to let it tick down and try and just understand the position as best I can before making a move, or just make a slightly rash decision and hope that it works out. And those two decisions clash with each other. Potential decisions clash with each other in my head. I overthink everything, and suddenly I have no time left, and I just make a terrible move and lose the game. Happens all the time. Less and less as I've played more and more and gotten a little bit more wise in my old age, but it still happens. What's the worst choke situation, as we could call it, that you guys have experienced or committed? I'd love to know in the chat. So yeah, Chris's time is ticking. He's probably trying to think of what he can draw with various moves. He has RU separated from SINST, which means maybe he's considering playing off the U and the R, seeing if he can draw a high-scoring play from the R of Oxer. He's looking at Rude, actually, I think, RUED to the ED on the top middle of the board. And what that does is it sets up the T-hook of Trude in an attempt to maybe draw a 7-letter word on the top triple, or divert Dustin's attention and draw an 8-letter word from the R and Oxer. So he's probably thinking, what 2-tile draws can I get here that will hit either of those two spots? So with ER, he can draw into centers. If he draws the E, he's going to be pretty likely to get something at least available to play. So he's probably doing what I've started to do that I've abandoned because I don't want to think too hard. But I think it's important to see if he can draw something from the R and Oxer as well, because even though Dustin might not have a way to like completely block the T-hook on Rude, he should be able to inhibit it in a way that 7-letter word is no longer going to fit. So Chris is probably thinking that that's the likeliest thing that Dustin will do to respond to this play. And so he's trying to see if he can draw something with that R, just as a backup plan. And yeah, that's the thing. At this level, if I were Chris, I would be wanting to divert rather than like actually go for a Trude play. I'd be more wanting to draw something from the R. So, okay. Us is the play, making bets. This scores very well. Scores 16 points, leaves 1 in the bag. So the fog of war is still there, and it blocks a big scoring spot. One of the things that I was wondering is if that spot would be blocked, because otherwise Dustin could have played mops for 34 points, which would bring him ahead by over 100, which should be enough to win like pretty much any position. So EH is the draw for Chris Sykes. He's drawn into Hinters, which doesn't fit anywhere. I don't think he's drawn into anything from the R of Oxer. Dustin's considering, I think he's considering plays to the right of Hodge. But yeah, he needs to play like SMO or SNO something, which I don't think he has to maximize the score there. But he can play also something with Haji. Maybe like Haji and Imp to block the R. But unseen to him, the last letter in the bag is the V. So Dustin has to be thinking, if Chris doesn't have the V, does he have anything? Or if he does have the V, I don't think he can have anything. Like investor wouldn't fit. Just one vowel too few, I think, to hit that R in Oxer. So I don't think there's anything to worry about for Dustin. Unless he gives, unless he doesn't score anything and Orneath's and Horniest scores enough to win. But that is what is being threatened. But I think Mop or Mops will score more than enough to outscore Horniest. Yeah, that's 27. Putting Dustin up by almost 100. Okay, so 27. Yeah, we're gonna see it play out, and you'll see Chris isn't even gonna be within, I don't think, 10 points after this play. Yeah, it's 20 points, 20-point difference. So the V is drawn. Chris is probably just gonna play like whichever one he wants to play. Maybe he's gonna look for some crazy possible phony to win the game. But it looks like Dustin's gonna take this one. 399 to 290 or 399 to 398 to 378. Let me just update that. So he has 398 right now. And this is the 378 is if Chris plays Horniest or Orneath's, the anagram. Orneath's being the plural of ORNIS, which is a pretty weird word. Yeah, let's do this like this. So you guys see the actual score before and after. So the question is, will Dustin challenge this bizarre word? Or will he just say, sure, good game? I think he's challenging. Yeah. Oh no. Is he? Yeah, I think he is. So we're gonna see the challenge cam, I think. Oh no, I think the producer left. So I don't think we're gonna see the challenge cam. That's funny. We do have a challenge cam. But yeah, our producer said BRB. So oh man, challenge cam was my invention too. It's too bad. But yeah, Orneath is a word. And because Dustin didn't go overtime, the game will end in his favor. 398, 378. Pretty low scoring game for a top division game. But there was a lot of struggling going on near the end with those consonants. Yeah. Oh, great. We're gonna see it. Let's go. Challenge time. Da, 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 da. Man, the suspense was palpable, wasn't it? Fantastic. So yeah, very interesting game. So I think the opening play of Abaya, I really think that was the play that made this game so interesting. Just playing in through the center. I really like that. Like strategically, but also aesthetically. So yeah, GG, congrats to Dustin on this win. We're gonna be getting you guys our next round pairing soon. It might be yeah, so it's gonna be round 6 next. We might stay with Sykes. Oh no, okay, so we're going to slightly younger players. Zach Ansell and Jonathan Lindh. I'm not saying Chris and Dustin are old by any means, but yeah, we'll go to break and we'll be back with that matchup in just a few minutes. Again to Scrabble fans and Let's Play Scrabble fans, most importantly. Those watching on Twitch should definitely go check out the Let's Play Scrabble website. We are streaming right now. Yes, that's what we're doing. I know how to stream. We are going to be watching a game between Jonathan Lindh from Chicago area and Zach Ansell from he's from California, but he's going to school somewhere. Anywho, this is a really exciting matchup, and I can't wait to show you guys their game. So let's just jump into it if they're ready to go. But yeah, this is the Albany Early Bird Tournament. New Year's tournament, the main event is starting tomorrow. But today, people who are extra Scrabble hungry are playing 7 more games. So 28 games to come in the next 5 days, going through New Year's. But 7 games today, so 35 games. All these players are playing 35 games. I am not. I would have maybe, but I also like to commentate. So here we are. Jonathan Lindh is the 6th seed. This is last round. No, this is good. Oh, this is, yeah, okay, this is a little bit off. So Zach Ansell is 4-1, as we see, plus 284. John Lindh is 1-4. So not having the greatest event, and those losses for Zach are actually wins that you see under his name. We'll get that fixed eventually. This is why we're streaming the early bird, even though this was unplanned. So, anyways, let's get the players going. Jonathan Lindh is first, and let's see what he draws out of the bag. Out of the Crescent City Cup bag, which is a tournament that's going to be in 2 weeks. It's one of my favorites. But so is Albany. Albany is also one of my favorites. Don't fire me, please. Anyways, so yeah, I love John Lindh's drawing technique. Zero suspicion that he's looking into the bag. He looks so far away from it when he's drawing. So TELFDE. So felted, which is a poker term, and L. So I think we're going to see something like felled on this opening turn. FELLED for John. Keeping the T. The T is better than the L, and putting out 1 fewer tile for Zach to work with is also nice. So putting out 2 L's instead of an L and a T reduces Zach's chances of playing an 8-letter word next turn, while increasing John's. So, I mean, just all upside here, and just taking the points, I would say, is a good idea, unless you have an S or a blank or a really, really nice combination of 4 letters. I usually advise to take 20 plus points on the opening play, rather than just hoping beyond hope that that your good letters that you're keeping turn into a bingo very quickly. So felled for 28. It is Zach's turn now. So I've played both these players a lot. Zach particularly plays a lot on Woogles. We play a tournament every Monday called the Mondaily. For those that are unfamiliar with Woogles, Woogles.io is pretty much where you should be playing online Scrabble, if you're not already. And I run a tournament there every Monday. It's a blitz tournament, but it's slow blitz, 6 minutes per side. And Zach prefers the 30-second games. And yes, you heard that right, 30 seconds per player. He's able to finish the game in that amount of time. So yeah, that's pretty incredible. I think I've finished a few 30-second games in my time, but yeah, Zach is a speed demon. So, oh, I have the rack wrong. So that is PITTNOR for John Lindh after the play of Zach's, which looks very good to me, scoring 43 points, despite KOGG being the leave. I think you want to take those points for sure. I also wonder if he should have played Gaze for 28 to the E and fell, the first E, because that would have actually set his X up for next turn. But that would likely have gotten blocked. So that would have been an interesting decision as well. But probably a little bit too hopeful. So Jonathan's turn. He's gonna try to find something. I think I would be looking through the EX. Like maybe you could play exit, which isn't very nice, but something like that is what I would be looking for in this situation. Maybe trying to play a word through the E and Feld, but I don't think there is one letter off of a few things. But yeah, I wonder what John's gonna do in the end here. It's always pretty cryptic what he's considering, I think. I don't think he aligns his tiles in a way that makes sense to me when I'm watching him play, like in terms of what he's thinking of. But maybe that's just me. I think export is what I've come up with as the best option that I see. Export from the EX, keeping TIN. But yeah, we'll see what John does. Hope everybody is having a good, it is Saturday, right? Yeah, a good Saturday. A few days left until 2025. I hope everyone's excited for the next year in Scrabble. Welcome to Kevin Burbridge in the YouTube chat. Welcome to PJet. Welcome to Jello Mochas. Welcome to Infinity Words in the Twitch chat. Everybody who's watching on Twitch, thank you for watching me, but you should probably just head over to Let's Play Scrabble on YouTube. You can use the command on Twitch, exclam Let's Play Scrabble, and it'll show you a link to the YouTube channel where this is being primarily streamed on. But if you stay, that's your decision. The rest of the tournament is not going to be streamed to Twitch as far as I know. So everybody that wants to watch more Scrabble as the main event begins tomorrow morning. You'll have to be going onto YouTube. So do they have real commentators? Yes, they do. Indeed. There will be real commentators. I'm just a fake. I should just be playing, right? Letting people commentate over my mistakes. But yeah, John taking a while here. He took a good amount of time on his opening play. I think he took around 40 seconds. For a play like that, I think that's the right amount of time usage. But having already taken 4 minutes on this turn, it's possible he's not thinking of plays with that EX. He has point lined up. I wonder what he's thinking. I really want to know. He's definitely thinking thoughts. John is a very strong player. He comes up with a lot of cool plays and a lot of nice ideas. I just don't know what he's thinking in this context. Okay, maybe he's thinking, oh, I'm close to trim pot. But those thoughts are invasive. You need to not think about what you're close to, but what you do have. Seeing tin pot. Oh, that's a cool word, tin pot. But yeah, he's just not seemingly seeing anything using the EX. Extort, export, exit. I think those are all plays that maybe those are the top plays. Or maybe there's something I'm missing. And Zach's just sitting there. So speaking of like speed and time difference, I mean, John has already used 5 of 6 minutes that he would have in my tournament. And he's settling on playing pot. So yeah, clearly missing that EX on the board where he could play higher scoring plays. But we're just over here watching. So Zach is ahead by 1 point, and he has EGGKORR on his rack. He's been staring at one word this whole time. Is Did they add regex yet to one of the dictionaries? REGEX. I know they added like engram. Like all these coding-ish words. Yeah, if I were Zach, I'd be looking to play grok. How do you say that word? I never use that word in common parlance. But you can't play that anywhere, unfortunately. It's actually not an easy position. But it would have been smart, I think, to be looking for plays on John's time, because once your opponent uses 5 minutes on their turn, you really want to snap back as soon as possible and start putting the time pressure on. So this is not a word. Pegger. It's a very common phony, but it doesn't look like John is holding once again. We're gonna see a phony gotten away with on turn. Is it the same turn as well? Turn 4? I don't know if it's the same turn as last game, but yeah, Pegger looks like a word, but it isn't. So that's a phony. That was not a play I was considering. Maybe I should have been considering it. So Zach taking a 12-point lead. So the way I remember that Pegger isn't a word is that I've played it before, but also preggers means pregnant, and that is the only word that kind of looks like Pegger. In my head, that's how I remember. So it's possible that, yeah, I would have let this play go if it gave me a bingo, but John does not have a bingo through any of the GER of Pegger. So, yeah, that's a problem. Man, I can't believe these phonies are happening. I mean, these are such plausible words, though, and it just shows the challenge rule that we have in the NWL lexicon is such a tough one. Like you lose your turn if you're wrong. If we were streaming in the CSW division, I think many more words would be challenged because the challenge rule is different. Well, I'm gonna sneeze. But yeah, again, a very, very plausible phony word gets by, I guess, both of the players. I can't imagine, once again, just like last game where Karaoted was played, if those that are just joining have not seen the previous game. I can't imagine that Zach didn't think this was a word and played it on purpose. But I guess it's possible, not in his head. So Bog is the play. Again, not scoring that many points. John is keeping the very strong leave of EINRT. But there are two problems. The first problem is John could have scored a lot more points. He could have played like Zineb from the Z and Zax. And the second problem is, unless he draws an S, which, oops, spoilers, there aren't that many spots to play a seven-letter word or an 8-letter word on this board. But yeah, now that John has drawn an S, we have we're gonna have to see if he plays something with peggers. Probably will. So Droskis is a word with an extra S. Is that right? Drosky. Yeah, Droskies is valid, but not without the other S. So Dorkius doesn't fit to the T in pot. So yeah, it looks like Zach is going to settle on playing Droke for 30 points, which is a very strong play. He could also, okay, he's maybe changing his mind. He could also play just Dike, D-I-K-E, keep a much better leave in R-O-S-E. I might prefer that a little bit, especially since he's holding the first eye. There hasn't been an eye played, and we know what happens when you draw more than one eye. It tends not to go very well. But maybe a slight improvement possible there for Zach, but a good play nonetheless. So yeah, Are we going to see an S hook on Pegger? Or is John going to play something with pots? Oh, I think he's holding. It looks like he's holding the play of Droke. So that is interesting. That is a word. It is a weird looking word. Zach's showing the tiles he draws to the crowd, and Droke is going to get challenged. So, wow. Within 2 turns, Zach has played an invalid word that was not challenged and a valid word that was challenged. So this is a huge swing in Zach's favor. John clearly very sure this wasn't a word. You wouldn't usually risk a whole turn on a 5-letter word that scores 30 points unless it looks very, very unfamiliar to you. So Zach's going to get a 2nd turn in a row after this, as John is forced to pass his turn. So EEISST is now the rack for Zach. I like saying that, the rack for Zach. He doesn't have a playable bingo, but he can play SEE. He plays C with Drokes, which I imagine John isn't going to challenge if Zach puts an S on his 5-letter word that was just challenged. But there's also a possibility maybe John's gonna be like, oh, well, maybe that's a word, but I would know like if Drokes were a word. Like if something is valid with an S and without an S, they're twice as likely to have seen it. The math is very questionable, but there's a thing. So you might think that if Zach plays C, Drokes, and RE, that Peggers is not going to come up. But I think it still will. I think John is going to play insetter or something through the E that will be partially obscuring the S hook on Pegger. So I think we will still see if the phony stays with its plural, just like last game. So yeah, I mean, someone says Pegger is a word. It just happens to not be a word in Scrabble. I kind of agree with that. Oh, okay, instead we're going to see Sear, S-E-R-E, which scores 1 fewer point. But still, there's still going to be Stinter available for John making Peggers. But man, this is a very funny game so far. Zach has a 46-point lead, and he just drew into 2 7-letter words, finites and nifties. So that is going to be something he will play for sure, unless, no, it will play regardless of what John does. I was thinking if he plays pots and Stinter, but if he does that, then he'll be opening a spot on the 2nd to bottom row for Zach. So yeah, it looks like Zach's going to maintain his lead. We'll see a bingo trade here. But John not thinking about Stinter? I wonder. Is he thinking about... Oh, okay, I think some confusion going on in John's mind right now. That word knitters is not valid. Tinters, retints, and stinter are the words valid in the NWL lexicon here. But, okay, he's switching to, no, oh, he's playing knitters. Oh my goodness. Zach is stone-faced. Is he going to know to challenge this? Oh. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Sound effects. Tinters is going to give niftiest. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible situation now for John. So he does end up playing a valid word instead of an invalid word, which probably wouldn't have been challenged. But he's going to get hit for 158. like instantly. No question. Zach just takes time turning the board. I don't know why he's hesitating. Maybe just for effect, for cinematic effect. But that is a crazy swing in Zach's favor. So the game is pretty much over now after this play. I'll update the scores, but the scores are now 124 to 258. So Zach is doubling John's score. And yeah, the only way, or the way that John could have avoided this is by playing Stinter and Peggers, but I think he just forgot about Stinter and was trying to, he probably, okay, this is what I think. This is what I think went through John's mind. I think he saw tinters and retints and was like, there's a third word here. I know there's a third word here. And he was searching for it in his mind palace and couldn't find Stinter. And instead, he's like, oh, maybe it's knitters. And I think that really messed with his thought process. And that's why he didn't play with peggers. But that's crazy. Oh, man. I don't know if we're going to see peggers now. I don't think, it might not happen. It might happen, but it might not happen. John has drawn really well. I think he's already seen Carry On, which fits under the NI of Niftiest, but he probably has better through the T of Tinters, or maybe from the T of Niftiest. That would be the ideal place to play an 8-letter word. Hitting that triple. Unfortunately, have to, I'm not going to be able to figure out if there's anything playable from that T. Do a small technical issue, but the suspense is better, I think. So yeah, if anyone sees anything, feel free to mention in either of the two chats. But I think we might see something. What would we see here? What actually plays through the T? Row anterior doesn't fit. Okay, we're gonna see roaring instead. Yeah, that makes sense. Roaring and an ER. That scores a nice 67 points. Actually brings John within striking distance. But Zach has drawn the second blank. Along with it, 2 U's and a V, but he can make pretty quick work of those if he wants to by just playing Gov from the G of Roaring for 15, keeping only 1 U, and nice letters to go with it. So we might see that. There might be some crazy word available here too as well. Nothing that I see off the top of my head. But yeah, just Gov for 15 seems pretty good. But yeah, if we saw knitters, would Phineas have come down? We don't know. We'll have to maybe ask the players after the game. We might have a little interview. Not sure. So yeah, it looks like Gov is coming down. This is a play you see very quickly, and you just look for better. If you don't see it, then you just go for it. So Jalopy T is the rack for John, who is trailing by 82. And he has the play of Janty, if he wants it, through the N of Tinters. Scores 50 or 46. Jolty as well. Plays through the T of Tinters. But as I said earlier, John is just staring at his tiles, and I don't know what he's thinking. I really don't. But yeah, he sees Janty. Or does he? He sees J. Oh, he's looking at J under the RO of roaring, which sets up his O. Although there are 3 O's remaining from his perspective. So he might not want to do that. Oh, he sees Jotty now. Okay. I think Jolty would be slightly better. Like we said earlier, when John played Feld, the T is better than the L in general. So it looks like maybe he's settling on that. Yes, okay, Jolty. So now we know what he's thinking. But yeah, Zach is going to come back with the bingo. No matter what. He's drawn decently to his leave of DINU blank. So Jolty comes down. And is that a hold? That is a hold. I was worried about this. Oh man. Jolty does kind of look weird. It is a word. But okay, Zach accepts. I've definitely come across Jolty in my early days playing terms Scrabble and been like, wait, is that the phony? Because there's Jiri, that's not a word. Yeah. Jiri is the one that's not a word. Jolty is valid. In any case, play was accepted. We saw the shake of the nodding of the head by Zachary. And okay, not the worst draw for John, but yeah, he's down by 36 right now. And he's about to be down by over 100. And there are no blanks to draw, only one S to draw. Yeah, the unseen tiles are not very good. Lots of A's, both W's, 2 U's, a V, the Q. Yeah, the unseen letters are not very good. So Allende looks like a decision by Zach. Makes sense. 69, nice. And John with ADI PRTW. So options are not that good. Yeah, John might play something like underneath the ER or the RO, just like he was considering last move. He might play War. There's a cute spot for it. He played WAR, making za and fard. And yeah, that's 33. So that would be a decent play. What else could he do? He really does want to put that P on top of the I of Allende, but I don't think there's a way to do that. Oh, jilty, also not a word. Yeah. Question is, what happens in attorney if you pull out more tiles than you're allowed to? Yeah, that is common practice. And what happens if you draw too many tiles is there's a procedure called the overdraw procedure. So if I draw 8 tiles instead of 7, my opponent will take 3 of my tiles and turn them face up, and will give me 2 of the 3 tiles and put the one that they don't want me to have back into the bag. So it can be a pretty severe penalty if the letters that they turn over include a blank tile or an S tile. But usually it's not that huge of a deal, but it will tend to make your rack a decent amount worse than it could have been if you had just drawn the right amount of tiles. So that is the penalty for drawing too many tiles. And every extra tile you draw, so if you draw 9, they'll turn over 4. If you draw 10, they'll turn over 5, that sort of thing. So the penalty becomes more and more severe if you draw more and more tiles, because your opponent gets to see a larger fraction of the tiles that you have on your rack. So I'm seeing Wrapped lined up, Jonathan, who's down to 7 minutes, under 7 minutes, with 34 tiles unseen to him. So he's gonna have to hurry up. I know he's already gone overtime in one of the games, at least, in this event. I was walking around the playing room, trying to intimidate my future opponents earlier. I did see John was over around 1.5 minutes, which, if you're new to Scrabble, there is overtime. It is a weird Scrabble-only rule. I've never seen something like overtime in any other board game / sport. I guess I have seen overtime in sports, never mind, in any board game. And what happens is every minute you go overtime, you lose 10 points. So he will have up to 10 minutes of overtime if he does go over, but he's going to lose a lot of points. And when he's down over 100, every point matters. So Wrapped was being considered. That's a decent option. It makes it kind of difficult to underlap. So the problem with playing moves under the RO of Roaring is that they will open the middle bottom triple word score, which you don't really want to do. But a play like Wrapped, our WR will be covering that triple area. It'll be really difficult to make a play there. You have to make a 2-vowel in a row move like OE or EE to be able to use that spot. And draw is a similar idea, just keeping PIT instead of keeping DI. Just wanting to hold on to his T, maybe increase his chances. So let's look, draws the play, and yeah, I mean, this is a little bit scary for Zach, who's now only up 73. There's not much he can do about that triple spot. He could play Ava or Awa, making Da. He really wants to get rid of the spot. But he doesn't have an E, and he sees that there are 5 E's remaining. So yeah, and he was going to use that spot too. He had AWA lined up on his rack, which would have fit in the same area of the AW of draw, and would have set up Zach's S, which is the last S in the pool. So he can be happy knowing that he has the last S, but he needs to sort of worry about that spot that was just opened, because bingo's 7-letter words will fit on the bottom left ending in E. And lots of 7-letter words end in E. So I think Zach might decide to make a defensive play here, not score that many points, which will give Jonathan the opportunity to make a high-scoring play next turn and maybe mount a comeback. So yeah, that might be what we see. I'm also wondering if Zach's just gonna live with it and play a vow, which he's doing. He's playing a vow which scores way more than blocking. That scores 24 points. And just giving John an ultimatum, pretty much, being like, hey, if you have a 7-letter word down there, then good for you. I'll still probably be ahead by a little bit. And I'll be threatening to block it on the next turn. So often the threat will be stronger than the execution in the game of Scrabble. And yeah, this is a decent decision. Just ignoring the threat, just trying to push forward, trying to keep the scoring pressure. If you can stay ahead by 100 points, you're probably going to win the game. So Zach has drawn an E, which means he's now threatening for sure to use that spot and use the triple up, which means he'll be able to score points while blocking. John plays PHAT on the top left for 40 points, cutting his deficit to 57. And Zach's probably going to play MAE, I imagine, just May, which scores 24 points, just blocking the spot. Little does he know, John has 6 vowels. and isn't even close to being able to use that spot. Very unfortunate draw. Question, what if you overdraw and draw 93 tiles? That'd be a very interesting director call. Don't actually know. It might have happened, actually. But I think a sensible director would just be like, okay, whatever, just draw again. Just start again. This is ridiculous. That's what I would do, at least. So yeah, are we going to see May? Yes, we are. Sorry, I missed that. May is the play. A-E-E-I-T-U-I. Jonathan down 81 points with this rack. So needless to say, doesn't look good. He wants to play off an E, an I, and a U if he can. But nowhere to play Etui. He can maybe use his T to play it. But yeah, it's looking really, really bad. I don't really know what John's path to victory is. He's thinking of Ore, or Orei, excuse me, through the R in Roaring. He can also play Urei through the R in Tinters for slightly more. The problem with that, Ureei, is that it blocks important lanes that he wants. The S in Niftiest, the T in Niftiest. And although Orei through the R in Roaring does block the R in Roaring and the I in Roaring, it leaves those more important lanes at the top of the board open while creating a new lane next to the A. There are 7 spots available after this play to play down and hook the A to play a bingo. So I like this decision. And it's Zach's turn. He has ABEIMOS, a nice balanced rack. And I would probably be looking through that N of Tinters to play a high scoring overlapping play. So for example, MANOS is available through that N. So that would score 38 points and put Zach ahead by over 100. You could also also decide to block the S and the T of Niftiest. That would be a sensible approach as well. But yeah, it's all smooth sailing for Zach, I think. Because yeah, we see John's rack, which is an R off of Neutrino. I don't think he's going to be able to play a bingo next turn. So yeah, John might have to open some more space on the left side of the board. You do see that open furthest left column. John's maybe going to be looking at that column, trying to make a play that opens it or creates an opening for it. Yeah, Zach has plenty of time. John does not. John's down to 3 minutes. So you're going to have to think fast. He's going to have to get really lucky. Zach just has to maintain the scoring pressure, basically. And he should win. So unseen are 8 tiles, just like last game. This would be, in my estimation, the beginning of the pre-endgame phase of Scrabble, where you have decent information of what your opponent might have. And you get to start making decisions based on what's unseen to you once you've tracked all the tiles that have been played. So Zach's looking at CCEEGHIINNOQTUY, which is a very, very awkward set of 15 letters that his opponent could have any combination of. And I guess he'll be worried about big bingos with the Q. That's probably what he's looking for. Maybe there's some huge threat from the T of niftiest that he wants to deal with. And so this is what he does. This is a very stylish play. Roam for 12. And this play not only handles the S and the T as threats, it also sets Zach's S up, which he knows he has the last of. The other three S's are already on the board. And so this is a very nice, I guess, cherry on top of this game. That definitely went Zach's way, starting with the play of Pegger, which is not a valid word. And then the triple of niftiest, taking advantage of the opening in the worst way possible for John. So yeah, John probably at this level of play, the players realize what's going on. Their opponent plays Rome, setting up a big spot for an S. They have the S. Sometimes you want to try and play like your opponent's made a huge mistake, but probably in John's head that this was the intention of the play of Rome. It doesn't make sense otherwise. If you don't have the S, why would you set up a huge spot for it? So it looks like John's going to play maybe un2 and DO, which makes a lot of sense. Like I said, trying to open that left column in some fashion. And there we go. So yeah, one last attempt to set something up. But I don't think John's going to like what he draws out of that bag. So Zach's looking at C, C, E, G, I, I, N, Q. So the G is the last tile in the bag. There is a threat of CINQUE through the U of un2. That looks like that's about all that's being threatened. So if Zach wants to be safe, he'll probably play something either underlapping the un2 with like the H, UH, maybe UH, and actually I don't know what he would do there. Maybe an HE. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. Maybe he'll play bushy through the U of un2 just to block that area. Maybe he won't care at all. There's really nothing he needs to worry about at this stage. Oh, welcome to another Josh in the chat. Yes, thanks everybody for being here. This is round 6 of 7 of the Albany Early Bird, which was not planned to be broadcast. So you guys should be consider yourselves lucky, but also consider yourselves generous with your time for being here. But this is, yeah, the end of round 6. There's one more game to go. It's probably going to be a deciding game between Zach Ansell, who we see on the right here, and Keith, Barry Keith. And Barry Keith is a very strong player from southeastern United States, who he told me today this is the first tournament he's flown to in 30 years. So although he has gone to tournaments before, he has gone far to play in tournaments. He tends to stay close to home or drives to tournaments, but he's flown to get here, which makes sense as it is wintertime. The roads are a little scary and icy. But yeah, very, very strong player. I've played him before. There's also been a documentary, I think, a short film about one of the tournaments that Barry has gone to. I don't know if we can find the link for that. That'd be really cool. So Bay is the play, just letting Sank come down for John. So we're going to see that. John's going to be able to play that without going overtime. So 51 points. We'll see if Zach holds, or he has a concerned look on his face, either because he didn't see this as a threat or because he doesn't recognize the word. But whether or not he challenges, even if he challenges and loses his turn, John's not going to be able to score enough to win this game. He has a C and an I. He'll be able to go out with it for around 10 points. But after all the math, all the endgame math, the game would end 416 to 431 in Zach's favor. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he is accepted. Again, we saw that nod. Might see a play like Psy for 34, hooking Sykes. That's another thing. If Zach is unsure of the word, then he might not want to put an S onto it. This is a word. And I think he will play Psy and Sykes. Oh no. Okay, he is unsure, or he doesn't see it. That's 31. Oh, maybe he's counting it in the other spot. Okay, 31 for Psy. And we're going to see John make his final play of probably tick or sick. T and on 2, or the S at niftiest. Those look like 2 spots. So sick for 10. And the final score 400, John Lindh. 462 for Zach Ansell. So a great game. Very interesting. Very exciting beginning there. So yeah, let's look at some stats here. Let's see if we can pull up some of our new stats. We see that Zach's average score in this tournament, that guy, 460 to 403, which is pretty much exactly what the game we just saw had a score of. So it looks like he has the highest average score, but his opponents are averaging much higher than Barry's opponents, which means Barry has a higher spread, which is the tiebreaker in Scrabble tournaments. So I would like to see what the rating situation is. Yes. So Barry is up 36 rating from 1783. And Zach's up 22. So Zach came in as the 3rd seed here. But it's shaping up to be, if Zach wins the next game, he might become the highest rated player in the field. But maybe Sykes is going to still eclipse him by a little bit. Anyways, some really cool stats here in our 6th penultimate game. Anywho, that is it for game 6. Hello, everyone. It's me again. I'm Josh Sokol. I am covering the early bird of the Albany New Year's tournament by Let's Play Scrabble. The main event, the real stream, starts tomorrow morning, I believe at 9:30. And we're going to take a small break while we get the final round prepared for you guys. And we'll see the result as the tiles hit the board, I guess. So yeah, see you guys in a few minutes. Thanks for being here. Hello, hello. Welcome to the ultimate round 7. I don't know what else to call it. So this is the early bird of the Albany New Year's tournament. We're in upstate New York here at the Marriott. I won't fully dox us, I guess, but yeah, this is the final round of the early bird. The main event starts tomorrow. So if you're on Twitch, please follow the Let's Play Scrabble channel on YouTube for further coverage. We have some great commentators, not me, coming in starting tomorrow. I will be playing in the main event, 28 games. So the people playing today are the most hardcore of Scrabblers. And right now we have a very interesting situation in the standings for the top division of the NWL Lexicon. So right now we have 2 players at 5-1, but those players are not playing each other. Instead, Zach Ansell is playing Barry Keith. And the reason for this is because the format of the early bird was just a full round robin, 8 players, 7 games. And it just happens to be that these players might be playing for first place. So if Barry does win this game by 64 points, Zach in the standings and will be at 5-2 plus 283 or more. However, if Dustin wins his game and Barry wins this game, Dustin wins the tournament. Fate of this tournament is actually outside of the hands of the 2 players that we're watching. But we can act like Dustin is going to lose, even though it's except the people in the early bird. But yeah, let's get to this game. Complicated standings aside. So I think what Barry does need to do is just act like Dustin's going to lose. That way, if that whatever 50-50 coin flip happens and Dustin does drop his final game, then Barry will win the tournament, the early bird tournament. So we see a little bit of misprint again in these standings. We are going to work on that before tomorrow's coverage, but Barry lost his first game and won his next 4, whereas Barry won his first 4 and lost his last game big to Chris Sykes, and Zach lost his first game and has won the last 4. So kind of opposite situations here. But yeah, it's going to be a very exciting matchup. And if the players are ready, I would love to watch some Scrabble. So yeah, let's play Scrabble. Or if you're me, let's commentate. But, it's playing as well, kind of. Thanks to everybody for watching this impromptu stream. Again, please subscribe to the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. They're the ones making this happen. I'm just commentating. Doing a few things here and there. So Zach is first to act. Let's see what he pulls. Oh, looks like meow with a couple of extra consonants there. So ABIMOTW. All right, let's update that. So yeah, meow is what I saw as a possibility, but wombat, even better. Okay, wombat. You don't see that word every day. 34, unless you live in, is that in Australia? I think so. But Barry with a very nice opening draw of EEMORS blank. He is certainly going to play a 7 or 8 letter word on this turn. And I think he's lined up Seymour, which, if I know Barry, I think he likes The Simpsons a lot. And maybe this is, I'm probably overthinking this. Maybe this is an allusion to one of the prank calls that Mo, the bartender, got from Bart Simpson. If anybody gets that reference, great. I feel less nerdy with everyone that understands what I'm referencing. In any case, let's address what is going to be played here. It looks like Barry has already found what he wants to play. He has been circling a blank. That's what you're wondering what he was doing. And he has this amazing way of laying down his tiles. I want to show you guys. Look at this. He just stacks them up in his head, in his hands, not in his head. He stacks them up one at a time. He just drops them. This was maybe not the most dexterous example of that, but if he bingos again, I think it'll be even more beautiful. I really like it. It's very majestic. So Maureen's is the play, Moreens, for 80 points. And the draw for Zach, to his eye is Adeghl, which looks pretty good. I'd be looking for like a head word, like gilt head, yeah. You did see gilt head, but that was just blocked by Maureen's. Alighted is the anagram of gilt head. That also doesn't fit. So I'm not sure if there's a bingo here. You might see something like way from the W of wombats. Maybe away, you can add the A to that word. But yeah, very good start for Barry, who's drawn decently as well. CEFIOSU is Barry's post-bingo draw, as we call it. Don't think he has anything immediately, but yeah, Zach's still wishing that T stayed open. But alas, that isn't how Scrabble works. It's a turn-based game. So everyone that's like, you blocked my spot. It's not true. I blocked our spot. In any case, yeah, maybe something like way from the W. There are probably some other interesting plays available, but that's what I see. Hidalgo fits to the O in wombats, HIDALGO, which is a fun little word. What does that word mean? Hidalgo. Let's see. A member of the lower nobility in Spain. Okay, interesting. Historical word. That's also a possibility. The problem with that play, if you're imagining the letters of Hidalgo on the board, is that that play blocks a lot of the space that is open right now. That was opened with Maureen's and was already kind of open in the top left of the board. So it might make more sense to leave that space open and play something like way, which opens the bottom part of the board, which is currently not accessed by any play. So when you're down early, it might be a good idea to make decisions slightly based on what they do to the board, as we see way come down. So here we go. FECIOUS. And yeah, I'm not really sure for Barry what to do here. You could score decently. I guess first thing I see is like force through the R in Maureen's. But that doesn't look good at all. Keeping the U. FOU might play somewhere. Nope, doesn't look like it does. All right, already seeing the play of Curio. Okay, interesting. So that was a pretty quick play by Barry. 20 points for Curio. Keeping the F. I don't recommend keeping the F that often, but in this circumstance, Curio does do some good things. It does block a decent part of the board, and it does retain the F as a scoring tile. Since Barry is up by 42 points, it's nice to be able to score on his next move, pretty much regardless of what he draws. So yeah, it's a good move. I like that move. And back to Zach, who has DAALLNT. Doesn't seem very good. Maybe something like ALLOD through the O in wombats is playable. But yeah, you're already starting to see the board compress on itself. Maybe just DAL in a way might be better than that. He's looking at natal, which maybe he's looking at away and natal. Oh no, he's looking at weight. Yeah, you can put the T on way to make weight. So yeah, that's also an option. That scores decently. It scores 23 points. Keeps an L and a D, which is okay, and continues to leave space open on the board. But yeah, maybe DAL on top, making away is also a decent idea. That one scores 21, but retains better letters, better combination of letters. But we see natal come down. Makes perfect sense. Might be the best play. And Barry has drawn vine. And you notice that Zach is only down 20 points here. He doesn't need to go straight for that bingo. Of course, a bingo is always nice, but keeping the scoring pressure going and hoping to catch Barry on an awkward set of tiles is a decent idea, as well as deloused now fits through the E in Maureen's for Zach. As Barry's obscuring his letters, but he has EEFINSV. You would want to play something like 5 somewhere, just keep ENS, very nice leave, but it doesn't seem like he can do that in any decent part of the board. So maybe looking at something like veins through the N in natal for 32 points, just to keep scoring and block some parts of the board, and that looks like what he has decided on. So no risk there. The V prevents any 2-letter words from hitting the middle left triple. And the S, the word of veins, doesn't take any hook. So yeah, decent play there. And it looks like Zach has found his bingo of deloused. Maybe just looking for something else or trying to make sure that this is indeed a valid word. It was mentioned that allantoid was a possible 9-letter word with the previous rack that Zachary had. That is something I did notice, but did not deem necessary to tell the audience. But now I deem it necessary to say, I also saw that cool word, okay? I'm paying attention. So, deloused coming down, that's going to tie the game up. It's going to give Zach a small advantage, but on Barry's turn. So with the tempo involved in it being your turn, I would say being up 11 points is about equal. And Barry's drawn into finagle, Fenagle, which does not have a home on this board. So instead of that, Barry's going to have to just do something like middling, I guess. He's gotten rid of his S, so he no longer has a really nice tile to keep. So that gives him maybe more flexibility to play more tiles or fewer tiles, depending on what he wants to do. Usually when you have an S, you want to keep it and keep it with some other decent tiles, which makes your plays become shorter than average. At the top level, obviously, the longer plays are somewhat likely to hit the board. If you look at top level boards versus intermediate and beginner level boards at Scrabble tournaments, you'll probably notice that the top level boards are far more expanded and open with longer words, and the lower rated boards are pretty compressed with very short words, often making a staircase-like shape in the middle of the board. And the reason for that is higher rated players also, not only do they know more words, they also spot those words, and they're not afraid to open the board and leave more possibilities open for their opponent. We see the post bingo draw of EIIPSU, I think that's an E, yeah, pretty sure. That is not good. That is not good at all, Zach. So clearly now a disadvantage. He might decide to just play PU, PIU, making PO. Maybe he'll play Epic to the C in Curio to score some extra points. But keeping that E instead of that U is very much an improvement. So PU only scores 14 points, 10 fewer than Epic would. But I believe that keeping the S with the EII rather than with the UII is well worth the sacrifice. But instead, Pewley, a very interesting decision here by Zach. He's probably trying to set up his S. There is another hook to that word. You can also play Pulik, P-U-L-I-K. But this is an aggressive choice. We've seen Zach make similarly aggressive plays in the previous game. So in this case, again, he has the final S, and he's using that fact to set it up. So I like this. I like this decision a lot. Now he has multiple spots to hook his S. He can play the S on Pewley. He can play an S on Curio. And Barry's going to have to wonder like what he should do about it. Yeah, he's up 10 points, but given the previous play, he probably assumes Zach has that final S. So he might not be feeling like he's ahead with this rack of EFLNRX. So very nice game, very nice final game. As we mentioned earlier, if Barry wants to win this tournament, the first thing he has to do is beat Zachary by 64 points or more. And the second thing he has to do is hope beyond hope that Dustin, who's playing another opponent, loses his game, because Dustin also has 5 wins. But he doesn't have a lot of point differential. Okay, nice find. That's a nice 25 points for Barry. He could have put the RE on that for 8 extra points. Right? Is that a word? It is a word. Okay, not crazy. So Refind was also playable there, but maybe Barry decided not to open that triple. And now Zach. Back to Zach. Zach rhymes with a lot of Scrabble-related, commentary-related things. Back to Zach. Zach's rack. What else? If he overlaps, it could be Zach stacks. But AWE is the decision. I mean, Zach still has that S for Pewley's, but he doesn't have a great play with it. So he's using the fact that he still has it and making another board opening play to try and draw into that bingo. But EIIISTT is not what he wanted. Back to Barry, who does have the X still. He was keeping that for later. And he'll be able to score pretty well here. He can play Axe to the side of Veins, making AE and XI. It's a nice 36. He can also play underlapping the previous play. He can play LEX, for example, making AWL and TEE. That would score 35. I'm more partial to that play, just because it keeps the A and the E rather than the 2 E's, seemingly giving Barry a little bit more flexibility and also blocking a little bit more. The time situation is completely even, 16:54. Barry's just gone under that. So both players are using their time very well. I'd like to see it. But yeah, very nice game. Like I said, Barry still does have a small lead. However, there is a threat on the bottom of the board that Barry can't really do much about. If he was ahead by a lot more, he might want to try and block the S hook on Pewley. But because it's a close game, he can't afford he probably can't afford to make a huge sacrifice there, even if he's very sure that Zach has the S. So yeah, he's putting some thought into this. Lots of options available. You can also play Laxer, L-A-X-E-R, in the same spot where you could play Lex. It would be nice to be able to get rid of the X and the Y at the same time, but that doesn't seem possible. So yeah, we'll have to see what he does. In any case, would like to restate the fact that this is a NWL 23 game. The main event that is starting tomorrow, the Albany New Year's tournament, 28 games, will be, I hope I can say this, fully a CSW stream, for those wondering. But yeah, this is the top division of the early bird, North American Lexicon final game, and anything can happen. Barry can win, Zach can win, and if Zach wins, he's probably going to win the whole event. But also, someone who's not being shown, Dustin, could possibly win as well. We showed him 2 games ago. So Lex is the choice by Barry, 35. And now Zach is just looking for somewhere to play TI. But there doesn't appear to be a spot to do that. Thanks everybody for tuning in, by the way. Some nice viewership. Zach quickly playing TI, keeping EIIST. So as long as he draws a consonant or 2, should be in decent shape next move. Maintaining his S hook on PULI. And Barry has drawn the J. And we see the draw for Zach of Airiest, A-E-I-I-R-S-T. He doesn't have a spot to play Airiest, but he does have a spot to play an 8-letter word on his next move. We'll see if he sees that. I don't believe that Barry has any sensible play that blocks that, unless I'm missing something. I am. Okay. Forget I said anything. Joram, very nice find. 30 points, blocking seriatim, a very not oft seen word. So if Zach saw that, he's probably really like, how could you do that? He's probably very, very confused. Sometimes your opponents make plays in a weird part of the board that just happen to block your weird part of the board play. And if you're not focused on the goal at hand, which is to win the game, sometimes you can fall victim to some psychological torment. And we're hoping that Zach is unflapped by this, or that he maybe just didn't even see his play of seriatim, which ignorance is bliss sometimes. But yeah, he's certainly behind by a lot now. And he's considering just playing off an I for 9 points. XI, keeping AEIRST, which is one of the best combinations of 6 tiles you could keep. We still haven't seen the K for Pulik. And another I is drawn, so Zach still has Airiest, but still has no spot for it, even after his play. And Barry has DENNRTY. And he's probably going to try and block some stuff this turn. Maybe not. He might just play on top of Joram. He might play DEY, making DOER and YA. That would score 35 points and cement a 87-point lead. But remember, Barry can't afford to win by less than 64. So he's going to try and block as much as he can. And he's playing deny. Deny, deny. Trying to deny Zach's potential bingos. This also inhibits the bottom row that Zach was trying to plan on using later. But it does give Zach perfect spot for an 8-letter word. The only combination that could have fit there in the N in 4th position. There's only one possible, I guess, permutation. I don't know what to call this. Anyways, this is pretty much the only spot where you could play an 8-letter word. Is through an N in 4th position. And Ranius comes down. So in trying to block, Harry just gave Zach a nice spot, which doesn't feel great. I think deny was a very good play. But Barry's still in the game. There's still a blank to draw, still a Q to draw. There's still not a K to draw anymore. Barry has drawn the K for Pulik, but now he has some other stuff to worry about, namely the S and T in Ranius. Those spots are pretty juicy. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it play through one of those tiles. But what do you play? Verst, VERST? You can play VERST for 32. Nicely symmetrizing, is that a word? With the play of veins from earlier. The problem with that play is Verst takes an E hook, VERSTE. From Barry's perspective, there are 2 E's and 1 blank that can be used to hook Verst, ERST. But that play does address the big scoring spots and maintains the threat of playing something with Pulik, P-U-L-I-K. And there's still also the triple on the top now. So things have exploded a little bit in this game. And Zach has drawn incredibly well, I just noticed. So yeah, it's going to be hard to imagine him losing after that draw. So karst instead, nice find. I think a karst is a type of stone. But getting rid of that K that you could have used next turn in a variety of spots. So maybe a small mistake. I'm not really sure. Again, Barry needs to win by 64. But yeah, this is probably going to end very soon, just given the fact that Barry has just drawn 4 consonants and Zach has at least B labor, which he saw, that plays under the JO of Joram. I think, yeah, we're going to take a look. We're not going to take a look, but our producer's going to go see what's happening. If he can see what's happening in the Dean, Dustin Dean game. But yeah, Rubiola is a nice find, making KA. And that's going to put Zach firmly in the driver's seat, not only to not lose by 64, but to win the game, especially given Barry's draw. So yeah, it's going to be hard for Barry to win after that play of Rubiola. Yeah, what a turnaround. I mean, Barry's in great shape unless Zach has like these really, really good letters. You see from Zach's perspective, the unseen letters are very ugly. Not that many vowels, no S's, no blank, the Q, a U, a V. Yeah, some rough drawing ahead for both players, I think. So we see Rubiola come down. And that makes the game 350, 311 in Zach's favor. So Barry down by 39 now. And I think the best he can do is just score a couple of points with cred through the R in Ranius. Is that the best he has? It's just really, really unfortunate. But a very well played game by both players, I think. Maybe a couple small improvements to be made, but Yeah, hard to fault pretty much anything that either player has done here. So very high level game for the final round of the early bird. We love to see it. And yeah, Barry just staring into actually decent letters from his perspective. Nice balance of vowels and consonants. 6 tiles in the bag. QU, so even if you have the Q, you might have the U with it. And even without the U, there's a nice spot for QI next to veins, the I in veins. So most likely, whoever draws the Q is not going to be stuck with it. So just all in all, pretty much everything that Barry is going to start noticing in this position is going to be in his disfavor. Yeah, like the fact that there are high scoring tiles remaining, the fact that there's a balance of vowels and consonants, and just in general, the fact that his letters are terrible. Might be, yeah, too much to come back from. But there's still time to draw some good letters for Barry. We do know that Zachary has HNOOPTZ, which are pretty good letters. No Q, the Z to score with. So yeah, definitely in great position Zach is to win. So we're gonna see cred for 30, just trying to score something. And imagine Zach is going to play, well, there's 3 letters left. So I guess if he plays POH or HOP on top of Joram, he is going to empty the bag. But by looking at what's unseen, once again, it does not look possible for Barry to play a bingo here. And that's basically all Zach needs to worry about in terms of maintaining his lead in this game. He is only up 9 points, but just based on what he has versus what he's seeing, looks pretty good for him. He has the last 2 O's to underlap the J in Joram. He's thinking of doing it right now, actually. Photon fits pretty nicely for 36 underneath. I would be a little bit worried of that play, just because I wouldn't be 100% sure that I'm going to have a great spot to play my Z. There are 2 spots for just to drop it, at least. You can play Za next to the A in Karst, or on top of the A in Joram. So there are going to be spots for it. But yeah, it's probably safe. So in the other game that matters for who wins this tournament, it looks like Dustin is trailing by around 50 points, but the game is still early for those that wanted an update on that. Which means that if Zach wins, it's probably just gonna win the tournament, just given that Dustin needs to win by like 200 or so to pass Zach in tiebreaker in spread. So yeah, now hop is being considered. Zach has a good, nice 10 minutes to think about this position, a very important position, the pivotal position of the game, I would say. And he's going to come to the conclusion that there's probably no risk in either case, or little to no risk. Like, what can he even worry about here? I mean, you can draw the Q. I guess if he draws the Q, he'll be stuck with it. Yeah, I guess that is what you worry about here. So if he plays hop, he will draw EQR. And there will only be one spot to play QI. Okay, the more I look at this, the more I'm like totally misevaluating the situation. Zach's only up 9. He scores 39. We have 48. Barry can stop the cue. But yeah, he might just, I mean, Barry's letters are so bad, so yeah. I think even if Zach gets stuck with the cue, it won't be enough for Barry to overtake him. What are you guys saying? You could play the Z right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that even if Barry plays the absolute best endgame, after hop or even after photon, won't be good enough. But it'll be interesting. Maybe not even interesting. Who knows? Yeah, I assume Zach is thinking of photon under the JO, but he could also be thinking about it making Oka and an A on the vertically on the right side of the board. But yeah, it just looks like Zach's gonna have too much flexibility in this position to suffer a loss in the end game. Someone's suggesting playing something like gun wombats. If you're Barry, if you're desperate, you might have to come up with a creative phony to try and come back in this game. So Zach's gonna maybe play just OH, leave one in the bag, leave a little bit of uncertainty, and only give himself a maximum of 2 out of 3 to draw the cue, whether Barry has it or not. So let's see if he draws it. He does. So the E is the last tile in the bag. Oh yeah, there was a possibility of keeping the POH for Koof. QOPH. What did someone say? Someone said something about that. Oh yeah, okay. Can he set it up? Yeah, there was nowhere to play it, but maybe there was a possibility of setting it up. But yeah, I think Barry's gonna play like GI for 5 or NE for 2 and block the Q spot. Yeah. So that's what he does, and he's gonna draw the E, which is gonna make his life a little bit easier in the end game. So we now have the scores 376 to 346. Zach only has one spot to drop his Z for 11. So I assume he's going to play Za for 11. So this is going to take a while, I think. Like this full end game, because I think both players are just going to play one letter at a time. And this is a pretty much unsolvable end game if you're a human being within the time constraints that we have in a Scrabble game, even though both players know exactly what the other player has, so long as they've tracked correctly. Just permuting through all of the possibilities with one tile at a time, with one player not being able to play one of the tiles, that's the most difficult thing to do. There's only one person in the world that can do that consistently. So Barry with 8 minutes, see what he comes up with. He has EINNUVY. So not the greatest letters. He does have a spot now to drop the E for Z. But how is he going to get rid of his V? Like the V is the worst tile that he has, and he probably can't play it actually. He can't just play one tile. Yeah, he's gonna have to play 2 tiles, play off the V. So I guess he's looking at Vi for 10 to the E in Rubiola. Let me update the score, sorry. But he's He has a 41-point deficit. But he has higher scoring tiles than Zach does. And more vowels. So there could be some chance here. Is Zach gonna play 2 tiles as well? Is he gonna play like op under Durham? He's gonna leave that spot for later. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff actually. Barry only down by 31. It might be best for Zach to play ET and TI. For 8 on the bottom right of the board, which blocks Z, which is, I think, by far Barry's best spot for the E. But again, like this is just me being human. There's also weighty available. The Y goes on weight. This is really interesting. Do you want to block that? No, there's probably enough spots for the Y. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe you do block weighty. Okay, so op is the play for 23. And yeah, maybe you block weighty next turn. Or maybe Barry plays it immediately. So 410 to 356. Weighty is 17. Z is 14. See, I think Zach, what he wants to do is block either Z or weighty, whichever Barry doesn't play. And you can do that with the T. So Z is the play now, and now maybe Zach's going to play AT and TI. Yeah, this looks very good. This looks very, very high level, this endgame. And that was 14, so Barry is down 40. I don't think he's going to have enough, but it's really close. So yeah, AT and TI would be the ideal line, I think, for Zach, even though it sacrifices a lot of points for the T. Barry isn't getting nearly as much with the Y as he would get with weighty. I think his next best spot is 9 points for YE. So yeah, I think that would be the correct line. Oh, Joual. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, I did not see that. Somebody in chat mentions the U goes between JO and AL. Oh my gosh. Okay, AT&Ti, great play, great play. But now Joual is Barry gonna see Joual? It's crazy. Crazy. But if he plays Joual now, he can't play Joual now. He has to play his Y for 9. So if he doesn't play his Y for 9, he's losing that spot too. He wants to play YE to the E in weight. And that would put him down by 36. Joual would put him down by 24. And then are there spots for the ends? Are we running out of spots for the ends? I see 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots, 4. But both those could be blocked at once. So I think Barry has enough time to play his ends. So I think he wants to play the Y first, and then the ends after. And then the U as the final, because the U, Joual is unblockable. Crazy. I don't actually know. Let me try to do some math here. Okay, 9, 5, 9. I'm just doing this in my head. It's not going to make sense to you guys. 959. Oh, where does the O go? 959. Um, 9594. 9. 21. Okay, I think Barry's going to lose by 3. This is just my guess. It's my best guess. Oh no, he's not. Wait. I mistook something. Where does the R go, by the way? Does he play tire? I think Barry's going to lose by 2. Okay, let me do this math again. He's down 35. He's going to be down 39, 35. 39, 35. Oh my gosh. We're getting close. We're getting close. I'm going to be able to figure this out. I just have to enter all the scores. So you should play IN and NO, I think, on the top, on the middle right. This is crazy, guys. This is an insane endgame. It's so close. Because he's getting 20 points for the Q. Okay. 35. I don't know how to count. 36. If he plays IN and NO. No, 35 is right. And then Zach has to play for 2? Is that right? Or 1? He plays for 1? Oh, but wait. That's the last end spot. Hold on. Oh, so he can't play Joual? Oh my goodness. I don't think you can play Joual because you only have, you have to play, you have to go out. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, I totally, this is crazy. So, okay, Barry's gonna lose by 8. I think this is his only way to get rid of both his U and his N. Holy mackerel, what a game. 411 to 419. I hope that's the score they have. But yeah, Joual would not have been possible because there's no N spots anymore. Oh my goodness. Crazy, crazy game. Okay, this endgame will be analyzed for sure with our most powerful engine. Wow. Wow, 419 to 411. They have the right scores. What a game. So it looks like with that, Zachary is probably going to clinch this early bird unless Dustin Dean wins his game by a ton of points. So let's interview either both or just Zach and see what they have to say about the game. Because this was a crazy, crazy game. Really, really awesome. Holy moly. Yeah, that Rubiolo was so out of nowhere too. Extremely accurate game, by the way. This endgame looked actually like as close to as humanly accurate as one could imagine. And again, I say humanly because there's probably some weird way to be able to play Joual. But yeah, we're gonna get the players on the mics. We're gonna be able to talk to them about the game. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know in either the Twitch or the YouTube chat, and I'll be happy to ask our competitors those questions, so long as they're reasonable. So, yeah, Barry just needs to flip that ear. There you go. Yeah, some weird headphones. There we go. Amazing. All right. I think we're going to bring them in. Chat. So yeah, an incredible game. All right. Hello, guys. Can you hear me? And can I hear you? Say something, because I don't know that I can hear you guys. Yeah, I am not hearing that.
We hear
Oh,
you good. We hear you fine, Josh.
We can hear you.
hello, Barry. Hello, Zach. Thank you, first of all, for that amazing game. That was extremely well played by both players and an amazing end game. I think that was about as well as I could imagine anybody playing such a complicated end game. So really kudos and thank you for that. Um, how do you guys feel about that game? Is there anything you think you might have done wrong? Let's start with Barry.
Well, Zach was generous to tell me in a very short time that I missed the double emo course through this O and wombats. And
Mm,
so that would have been interesting. I think I'm not quite there yet. The end game
oh,
was
yes.
challenging. I wanted to drop my Y for weighty and score that, but then I thought after that he'll block my best place for my E. So I think you're right. I think that end game bears study.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some Macondo line that goes like 14 moves deep or whatever. But
Yeah, Macondo being the best engine we have available to study these types of things. But yeah, emo core is true. Yeah, I didn't see that myself. That would have been a little bit better. 6 more points.
All right. Well, if the national champion's not seeing it right off, I shouldn't feel so bad, right? So,
Exactly. Okay. What about you, Zach? Is there something you think you might have done slightly wrong, or are you
yeah,
happy with how you played?
there's a couple turns I have questions about. I think Natal is a weird one. There's a lot of routes I can go with that rack and board position.
Mhm.
Um, I was also kind of on the fence about TI, whether or not
Mhm.
to exchange that down to a better rack, whether it was
Mhm.
worth 18 points. Because I
Yeah,
have I
because
have a
you
bunch
had
of
three
lanes.
eyes at that point. Oh, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you. Yeah.
yeah. No, I have a bunch of lanes, and I'm not really improving the board in any way.
Mhm.
But there's just not a whole lot else besides maybe exchanging.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say that that sequence of deny, which was a really nice defensive play by Barry, leading to you just being able to fit Rainiest in, and then that post bingo draw. Wow, that was quite the swing. I will say, oh yeah, a question I have for Zach is on your Ariest rack. Did you see that Barry blocked a bingo with Joram?
Seriatim, I did
Seriatim,
I did
yes.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Um,
uh, I was talking about that. Like if that happened to me, I would be like, "Oh man, that wasn't
yeah.
supposed to happen." So I was saying how it would have been like he played it relatively quickly. So if you hadn't spotted Sarah Atom, it might have even been better on your conscience. But very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
would have been
I
really
did see that.
stylish.
Yeah. Um,
Okie
there
doke.
was air times over at a board next to me a couple games ago, so it was on my mind.
Yes.
Got you. So
I wasn't
a
even too
question
sure about
for
deny because, obviously there's the S hook with pulleys, and then I temporarily forgot about the S hook for curios, so I can't block
okay.
everything anyway. So I'm wondering if maybe I just score on the top. And then karst, I knew that opened a lane, but I wanted to keep my E. I saw a vatter that closes stuff down.
Mhm.
but I didn't want to. I saw the pool was kind of junky, and I wanted
Yeah.
to keep a quality tile there, even though I was also keeping the V. And just happened that with the random pull of 7 tiles, Zach got the bingo down. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, so on the karst turn, my question is, did you see Verst in the same spot? Maybe keeping the
I
K
should
for
have
the link.
I should have looked harder, and
Yes.
if I'd seen it, I would have played it. That
Yeah,
was
that
that
does
was
take the
sloppy.
E hook
Yeah.
though. VERSTE.
Yeah, on the
So
bottom, but then that's not
yeah,
a bingo. That's not like
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
First is definitely the play. I just had not gotten that far and should have taken a little more time. It would have been a nice parallel with veins on the other side if I'd gotten the other.
I
You know,
wouldn't be so quick to judge that, Barry, because remember, you had to win by 64. So just, I mean, maybe in terms of purely winning the game, Verst might be a better play. But in terms of trying to win by more than just winning, I think keeping the board open makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure
well,
about that.
yeah, I grant that. Um, yeah,
One question. So it was very unfortunate, Barry, that you had to play your U and your N together at the very end there,
I couldn't
because there
see
was a
another end spot
really
because I saw Elam,
Yep.
but then I
there
didn't
was
see
an even
another
better
end spot.
spot for the U, just a few spots up.
Oh, right, Joao. Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, but I couldn't see another place for
you
the end.
can't. Yeah,
Yep.
but you're stuck
If
with
I
the end. So that was really, really unfortunate.
oh Joao, oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to calculate everything. I totally miscalculated everything. And I was like, oh no, you can't play Joel anymore. So
Now, do
it's
you know
possible
people
that
up
for
in
Zach,
Quebec who speak? Do you know people up in Quebec who speak Joao?
oh, definitely. Myself, I can do a
Oh,
little
is that
bit of
right?
that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's possible that for Zach, maybe he doesn't play the O there because it gives you that U spot that's unblockable. It's crazy. Very crazy end game. So we'll have to
But
analyze
it's
that
funny
anymore.
if he misses that cheap 1 point end spot, then I get that down, and then if I grind and find Joao, I'm I'm 5 points better. Still not quite enough, but it would have been nice.
I think it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit more than
indeed.
5, but well,
Yeah, this is 12 and
well, you get
13, and so I got 8 there.
you
Yeah.
get +2 from
Oh,
Mado as well.
it was
Yeah.
mentioned that you had the spot for the P, BAP, and Plex.
Oh,
I didn't have
Yeah, I
the.
I
didn't see that
missed that.
either.
Oh, Zach did. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really, really amazing game. Do we know what happened in the Dustin game? I guess Dustin needed to win by around like
Probably
160 or something to overtake you, Zach. I'm not really sure.
something around that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think barring that, it looks like you did win the early bird. But again, like you guys, I don't know. This is an amazing game. I really appreciate having commentated over it. And Barry, this is your first time. Was this your first time on live stream? Why don't you tell us a little bit
This is
about?
my first. This is my first time being streamed on Let's Play Scrabble. So, hi everyone. To everyone out there in Let's Play Scrabble streaming land. Barry Keith here, Charlottesville, Virginia. Just kind of an interloper here. My first tournament up in Albany, and I did get streamed once in the 2022 Nationals in Baltimore to eventual champion Michael Fagan, and happy not to have made any egregious blunders in that game, and maybe a couple questionable plays here in this one, but just happy to be playing. Everything kept in perspective. It's just a blessing to be here and to make some new friends and to play this game we love. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Barry, it's an honor to, yeah, honestly, it's really great to not have to play and to be able to watch you play. For you, Zach, you've been streamed a decent amount at this point. You've been on your way up in the rankings. How would you say it compares to just playing off stream? Do you get any jitters? Is it more fun? Is it more invigorating? How do you feel about being streamed in general?
It's definitely fun. Doesn't I don't think it affects me a huge amount. The one thing I do is I do keep my rack nice and tidy for the stream. I need to show people what I'm thinking, make sure they can read the tiles. But other than that, I think I play pretty similarly to off stream.
Very nice. Yeah. Your dad, who's in the room as well, was telling me how you seem to be unflappable regardless of whether you're on stream or not. And that's definitely in the new era of wanting to, live stream as many tournaments as possible. And with you being up in the rankings, doing very well in many of the tournaments you play, that's definitely a good quality. So it seems I will reveal the truth to everybody that Dustin did lose his final game, which means that Zach did win the early bird. So congrats to you, Zach.
Thank you.
And the 8-point win definitely aided in that. But I guess considering that Dustin lost, you could have also lost this game and still won. But yeah, nice job to you. Let's ask a final question to both of you, starting with Zach. What are your expectations for the main event? 28 games.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just hoping to have fun mainly, but I haven't been able to do a whole lot of studying recently, so I don't expect that it'll go quite as well as today has. But I'm hoping to put up a pretty good fight and hopefully at least keep. I think I've hit 1900 again. I think hopefully keeping that will be a nice goal for me.
Great. Okay. And for you, Barry, what are your expectations? Lots of Scrabble to come.
Right. Well, as I mentioned, it's my first trip to Albany. I've wanted to play this tournament for a while. Certainly a very high quality field. Certainly outstanding leadership from Josh and Kevin and their helpers to make all this happen. So thanks in advance, irrespective of the result. But yeah, I've just come up on a break from public school teaching and just hope to make some friends and rekindle some friendships that I only see people in the world of Scrabble and try to give everyone a good game. Didn't give Christopher Sykes as good a game as I might have liked, but just hope to make everyone think and
Yeah,
take the
awesome.
results
Well,
as they come. Yeah.
great. I guess, okay, I have one more question. Sorry to keep you guys there. One more question. So I myself am a huge fan of course, Josh and Kieran, and then everybody that works for Let's Play Scrabble, and all the players that come down. It's always a blast. What I enjoy doing is playing after hours, like maybe Blitz games, stuff like that. What is your opinion on after hours Scrabble? Is it too much, especially for 35 games over less than a week? Or are you gonna play me? Are we gonna play? That's what I want to ask. Let's start with that.
I don't think there's anything as too much Scrabble. I am always down for after hours games, whether it's just Scrabble, Blitz, some other variant. Clabbers can be among my favorites. But I definitely I'll be here probably throughout some of the nights trying to get some more Scrabble in.
That's what I like to hear. Barry, what's your favorite variant to play outside of tournaments?
My Scrabble tournament is 30 years long, although my first many years when my children were little, I might only played 1 or 2 tournaments a year. It's a blessing that we have more and more tournaments all the time, and certainly in the Charlottesville area, we've got Andy Hong and also my buddy Clay who are directing, so I get to play more than usual. But I remember from those early years that anagrams was a cool thing. People would take a couple of bags of tiles and 200 letters, just flip letters up, and you could anagram words. It was kind of a speed thing. You can steal other players' words, and that was kind of fun. I've not played enough Blitz Scrabble to have any proficiency at it. I do like the board game Wingspan, so if anyone happens to have brought that, I'm definitely up for that. And I've never gotten to play the trivia competition here because it's my first time here, so I'm eager to give that a look as well when that comes around tomorrow evening.
Yeah, not a lot of after hours activities planned. Okay, let's play anagrams then, guys. All right, thanks so much for your time. We're going to close out this game. Congrats again to Zach, and I mean, congrats to you, Barry. You played an awesome game. So really appreciate that, guys, and good luck in the main event. For everybody else,
Thanks.
you guys are in for a treat. You might think the tournament is over. You might think the coverage is over. However, we have a nice little matchup for you guys coming up. And it is a family affair. Eric Goldstein versus Noah Goldstein. Father and son. 15-minute clocks. So for those that like faster paced stuff, that is coming up. So we're going to get that game going shortly. I think we're going to take a small break before then, but please don't go anywhere if you're wanting to watch a little bit more Scrabble tonight. We'll take a few minutes and come back with that really awesome, can't wait to commentate over matchup between father and son. So see you guys in a bit. Hello. That was one thing I forgot to do. Hello. You can imagine what we were saying. I have the Brasowski brothers with me. See, I didn't see it. They didn't say the same thing twice. Okay. Okay, so I got Gideon here, Emmett here.
Howdy.
They're going to commentate with me, and we're going to start this match. Both of these guys are intimately familiar with our competitors.
Maybe
Yeah,
two.
bring. So Eric Goldstein versus Noah Goldstein. The son, lower rated, goes first. I'm really excited for this. Okay,
Should be a
15
good one.
minutes. 15 minutes per side.
We'll see how fast the old man can play.
Yes. Let's go. Yeah. Are we still muted? We're not muted.
No,
No,
we're not
good.
muted anymore, Josh.
Yeah.
All
I know
right.
what I'm doing.
Nice.
He's already waving. So Noah's first. Eric Jr., Noah Sr. I like it. Yeah. That's gonna be great.
We always love to see Eric Goldstein get to play on the big board because he is very entertaining.
So what are the ratings of these two guys?
Now, after a pretty disastrous couple tournaments, Noah is all the way down to 15-19, which is not a bad rating at all. I'm much lower than that, but he was up at 1650 at one point, so it's definitely a bit too low.
And Eric is, he spent a lot of time talking triumphantly about how he's over 1900, but I believe as of yesterday he's below 1900.
Actually,
for the first time.
Actually, he's well under 1900
Yeah,
after a pretty bad early bird
He's at
too.
something like 1870, 1867, something like that.
So what we see here is really two skidding players
Right.
who are really.
And we also see a rack cam that needs to be adjusted if we have the producer there. Yeah, DEGINRT, which looks like a really good opening rack for Noah. No bingos there. He's gonna play grind. I would have instantly exchanged my D.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I
Yeah.
mean,
I think
seems reasonable.
that would be the play here, but grind makes sense.
I'm okay with grind. I think the big issue here is we
Grind
see
scores.
grind going down horizontally,
True.
which we know definitely big faux pas, especially on stream games, especially from a younger guy. So we really do hate to see that.
That's very true. I expect we'll just see Bo come down here.
BEAU, where? You have to-
Maybe
you have to
on
say
top
where.
of grind,
Yeah.
probably.
You have to say every single word.
Right.
BIEN.
BIEN
AD.
and BEAU. Right.
There you
For the
go.
folks at home, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Eric's considering playing FEU, which
Wait.
I'm not sure where he would play that.
Yeah. You can also play FEUAR to the R. Yeah, this is 15-minute clock, so you should not be taking more than a minute to make your move.
But he finds
Wow.
pretty quickly what we think is going to be his best play.
Yeah, that's nice.
Take a gander at Noah's rack. He's drawn the elusive Emmett rack, EMMET.
Oh, wow.
Good. Everything's about you.
Yep, that's very true.
Actually,
he has
EMMET has his full name over there. That's
crazy.
pretty
I've
impressive.
never seen that before.
Yep.
And he's
Not even going to line it up. He's not even going to line it up.
Wow.
But
Wow.
if Eric hadn't blocked the I and grind, he would have had team time, I believe.
Ooh. I mean, you know all the Emmett
I do
words.
know all the Emmett words, or at least supposedly. There's not another A for teammate, unfortunately.
Yeah, and as Josh was saying here, this is the danger of playing grind instead of just exchanging the G. Is you're left here with a pretty ugly rack. You know,
it's a pretty great rack.
despite the names that might be present, it's
Actually,
maybe not the greatest rack. You know, double N's, double T's, double E's.
I mean, you can still play Emmett hooking
Yeah.
low with the
you
T, make it
could.
work.
He won't, but you could.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely not the greatest rack of all time.
Okay.
I've walked into a family squabble, haven't I? 2 family squabbles, actually. All right. So 2 are playing over the board, 2 are playing over the commentary.
Now, I have a question for you, Josh. Can the people at home hear what Eric and Noah are saying to each other or no?
I don't think so. Producer could tell us.
And that's a pretty big tragedy.
Look at Eric. He's already messed up his rack again. At least we see his tiles. FEUEEIO. So he's gonna play FEU and MU.
Terrible lead, unfortunately, but
Oh, and a great draw for Eric Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget what names to say. ADEMORT. You guys see anything? Yeah, you have
Unfortunately,
to talk.
there's no I here for a very easy mediator.
Mhm.
I'm going to throw it over to Emmett to tell us about some of the bingos that might be playable.
well, where there is C, he might have Democrat.
Mhm.
Where they're an R in a good position, he might have mortared.
Mhm. Nice finds.
Thanks. I'm not quite sure if he has. I believe he doesn't have any sevens, but
Yeah, I don't think there is. It looks pretty good though.
It does look pretty good. Yeah.
What did you try to do here? Try to overlap FEU, try to play from the E and mate.
I mean, yeah, I might play something like ARM or something. Overlapping FEU, creating FA, ER, and MUM. But
He's looking at
or dorm.
and mater.
Yeah.
Dorm, add, and mater.
I don't know if I like that.
Now, how do you feel about Derm up here? Derm with FEER and MUM. Derma. Yep.
Yeah.
I think-
We'll see if Noah. It's kind of a word knowledge check for Noah.
Just armed though. You could just play
Yep.
the same
Arms
numbers.
also definitely good.
But he's
Yeah, I
gonna
think
he's gonna
after-
blow his rack up
Right.
again.
I might
That's
want
the
to keep
question.
a few more. I might want to keep the ED honestly on the rack.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's gonna go with armed.
Yeah. I mean, Josh, what do you think?
I like him playing for points. Like he thinks he's the overdog in this matchup. He doesn't need to fish, you know. He doesn't need to go for the bingos.
Yeah.
He thinks he can just power his way through his father. I mean,
Yeah.
But
you might be right. Look at
my bigger
Eric's
issue here is like what you see that false narrative, right? It's good. His confidence is very good in Scrabble, but too much confidence, like maybe we're seeing out of Noah here, could be to his detriment.
Eric finds a nice way to balance his rack. I mean, I don't really see too many other possible options.
Yeah, and tripled O's is going to be pretty bad for that rack.
See, that's the danger, right? Of playing 5, leaving yourself pretty vulnerable to bad draws.
he's not down that bad. You can just
No.
play OHO or HOO or OOH
I play
somewhere.
OOH hooking FA, maybe FAH.
Yeah, for 30. I mean, that's a lot more than the other options.
Yeah.
He's looking at HOO, making HIOE and OR, and that one scores 23.
Yeah.
So do you want to not open a triple for 7 points? It's tough. But again, he thinks he's playing his inferior, right? I mean, that's right. So
Yeah.
he doesn't want to open easy spots for Eric to score. This is so
Yeah.
funny.
Except, but unknowingly, he's leaving Eric with his spot in which he's going to play fax for, or wax, pardon, for what, 52, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's going to be a pretty big score.
Yep. Yeah, that's the danger. Maybe your dad's gonna use your spot.
And we do see a
Always
bingo
something to
draw
think
of Allianz onto the rack of Noah.
about.
And we're going to look, and it's going to play with ET and DA.
Or Latinos. with
Or
making
Latinos.
OBI and
Yep.
FEN.
And it could also play in the same spot. So we're definitely going to see a bingo come down.
Yeah, you guys think that Noah's been studying up on his high
Yeah,
probability
listen,
rating?
Noah
That's
is
like a top.
and he
top
set it up on
100
his rack.
maybe.
Yeah, we can't give him too much credit, but I think we can agree that he's probably knowing these very, very high probability words.
I
I mean,
agree.
we do know that he's hasn't really been studying that much. And he doesn't know that many words, but
If he
Yeah.
plays Latinos on top, making OB and
Oh,
SEN, that
Gilt
will
head?
give Gilt Head
Yeah.
or Alighted to Eric, which we actually saw in the previous game where Barry Keith's miss of a double blocked Zach from playing Alighted or Gilt
Wow.
Head. So okay, we see Latinos and EL, another safe choice.
Noah fumbling with the board a little bit. But
Yeah, he's pretty nervous, as you can
it
see.
seems like it. He says this is his first time ever playing on stream. So
What? I
That's,
play him on stream all the time.
well, I mean,
Baby bingo alert.
Wow.
Eric is
Wow, when Eric's already trolling, and then, and he is right. That is a
He is
very
right.
easy bingo to find.
yeah. I mean, it's very true.
Oh my
You love to see this type of
You have
fun
to,
being had over the Scrabble.
you have to
Yeah.
focus though if you're Arky. You did baby
Yeah.
bingo. You
The only thing
down
you really have
50.
to do if you're Eric right here is unblock your rack hand, as we see he does right there.
That's great. Gotta love that.
Yeah,
And in terms of time, Eric's doing very, very well.
yeah,
That
it's
was-
good. It's good.
yeah.
We thought that maybe his age could come into
Yeah, we
play
did.
here.
We thought maybe those arthritic fingers would have
Yep.
trouble pulling from the back.
No, but he's
That's
really
what's
he's
big.
really managing his disabilities well, which we love to see.
right.
Oh,
Yeah. Different abilities.
Different abilities. I apologize. I apologize. Yep.
I mean, so what do we see here, Josh? I mean,
You guys can see my face right now.
maybe odd on the
Or are we on camera right now?
through the
No.
W
Okay,
through the W and wax for a fair amount.
Thought would be better there.
That's a great point.
You don't want to
Great
keep the
point,
T and the
great
G
point.
together. Yeah, will Eric keep the worst tile, the G? This is the biggest question.
I've seen some pro G discourse happening, in the Scrabble forums recently. Josh, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, let them make bad plays. I don't know.
That's very interesting.
Okay.
Wow, are we going to see hard?
Play.
Oh, and he puts down the
play.
T. He puts down the T.
Surprising, honestly.
Wow.
He made a good decision.
You know, that's really what separates people like Emmett from people like Eric, who, you know, Emmett would have been very satisfied with putting down hard.
No, I would have played thought.
No, he wouldn't have. No, he can say he would have, but he probably wouldn't have.
Right, okay.
Well, what's interesting is unthawed, right? Unthawed could come up.
Unthawed, yep.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Noah's even, if his mind is even in that place right now.
I think he's panicking. I think he's like he has a lead
Wow.
against his father, and like he has a lot of consonants. He doesn't really know what to do. The board is wide open. He knows his dad knows a lot of words. But what a terrible draw though for Eric.
Yeah.
Let's see what
I like how Eric almost alphabetizes his rack every time, but not quite.
And a pretty solid play there from Noah.
Oh, very nice. Very
keeping
nice.
some solid tiles, keeping that good K. I'm very partial to the K.
True.
For those who don't know, so I really like that play of Ryan's.
Yeah, that was a really nice find. Forget what I said about being in panic mode. Noah's finding beautiful plays that I don't even see. So, what is
tough
Eric
turn
gonna
for Eric
do?
here?
Congii?
Ooh, what's
Congii. You could play
I never heard
Koenig.
that word.
Yeah, the plural of congies.
Eric down 45 here, so definitely not time to panic yet. But he would love a nice score here after that 37-point play from Noah. Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Maybe
icing.
Iconic potentially through the end of Latinos. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
Maybe
Iconic
with
could
G.
set up the I, but Iconic probably better. Yeah. Yeah, but you want to keep the G. That's the question.
And Noah has drawn a VW onto his rack.
It's tough.
And that's not going to be great, but he definitely still has a lot of nice scoring opportunities on this board.
He's hoping to play working through that N of Latinos, but it looks like Eric is likely to block. But he's taking a bit of time here with the awkward double C, double I, G combination.
I really hope we see him try a phony bingo against his son. I mean, that would really.
Oh, yeah. What can he do? What can he do? And you know what? And Eric's really right there. You know, at some point, skill goes out the window.
True.
I mean, he's just so much better at Scrabble than Noah is.
It's true.
And it really does suck to see someone getting so lucky against him.
It's very true.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel bad.
I mean, all of today we've seen both of these guys complaining about the tiles that they've been dealt, the tiles they've drawn. I'm not sure what gambit Eric is playing here. Honestly, I think he's just looking at the board.
He's wasting time.
Icing or something like that, but you know.
Okay, there we go.
All right, icing comes down. That's going to block Noah's play of working. So my brother and I were actually talking to these two just before they started playing the game.
Well,
and he's taking it off the board. Taking it off the board.
I mean, look, Gideon and Josh. I mean, something that's underrated is that you might want to every once in a while you have to sacrifice a couple points for a couple minutes, right? I'd rather have 3 extra minutes on the clock than 3 more points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that Eric now has just around as much time as his son. Like he had that advantage, and he's not going to have any advantage after this.
And there is a very advanced technique that maybe Eric could be trying here. Playing little mind games with Noah, putting down something on the board, seeing how his son reacts. We know they know each other very well, obviously, so that could come into play.
Yeah, and I mean he does end up playing icing, so it seems like just a time wasting tactic from Eric. Maybe akin to icing the kicker in a football game.
And you never know. In this friendly of a game, Noah might have let something slip about bad blocking his play in the very little amount of time that it was originally on the board, and that could have factored in.
Yeah, he's now found a better play than working. He's found Vrow on top of Butte, I think.
Nice spot. We'll see if he plays with
He does have work set up now. I wonder where he's thinking of putting that down.
Yeah, maybe with EW on the side of arms.
Meanwhile, Eric draws a solid but not great rack, some high-scoring tiles, but no real bingo possibility at this time.
Yeah. Oh man, no, taking too long here. You just want to make a play. You want to get rid of the V. You want to get rid of the W. You want to do something. Score some points.
Time really is of the essence here.
He could, if he really wants to start, getting defensive, maybe start locking this game down. He could think about playing Vrow or Vow, hooking the W onto the word HID hit. right? So maybe a little bit of a point sacrifice from work parallel to the ED, but something to consider.
And look at this camera just
Man, this is a
panning.
good zoom in.
Beautiful.
And he's gonna end
You
up
like it?
placing
You wanna
down
take the
Brow, which I
points?
think is one of his best plays.
Yeah, I like that play a lot.
Now we're gonna go over to Eric.
Oh yeah, that was his rack. ABCEOTY for Eric.
Catboy on the rack.
Catboy, that's
Great.
that's one of Gideon's famous ponies. There's probably one person in all of the people watching this coverage that knows about Catboy. No offense, but it was
Yeah,
a very
we're just not
iconic,
there.
It was a long time ago.
very iconic.
Yeah. Stone Age is what I've been hearing.
Oh well.
So
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Eric, right now we're getting a lot of and that is not Barry Keith.
That is
Close
not
up on
very
Barry
No, I don't even think they look very much alike.
No,
Um,
that is a fail, a production fail.
It's
That's
okay. It's okay. We're not gonna judge.
He's
He
oh
takes
he's
the
cheating.
G.
Oh he's cheating.
Okay.
He's cheating.
Yeah, and that's just like kind of things that you're allowed to do at this level against your son, especially. It's
Well,
who really cares?
Also for players that have been over
19 for so
1900,
long.
yeah.
I mean, for so long.
Let's also notice that Eric Jr. hasn't hit the clock yet.
Oh,
Wow. And
Wow,
this
he's
is
finally finding
and this is
it.
really
That's
interesting.
vicious
because
by Eric.
He just bled so much time against his father, and in a game which is so short, giving
Yeah,
this much
very
time
true.
advantage could really come into play.
Wow, that was I'm sure Eric was 100% aware that his son hadn't hit the clock. That one's not gonna go down.
All right, so Josh and Emmett,
Yeah.
if you're Eric here, you're down 52 points.
I'll tell you what
What are you gonna do?
I'd like to see him play Saba through the eye and icing
Hmm.
with 2 blanks and 3 S's left unseen. I would love to see the content play from Eric, setting up a potential 70 plus, 80 plus point play on his next turn if he draws one of those 5 tiles.
That would be pretty good. However, we do see what is chat saying? I hope all nice things, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's good. That's good to
14
hear.
Domino remembers Catboy.
Yeah. No, they're very kind usually.
Yeah. Lots of people know Catboy. Sorry, I shouldn't have
Yeah. I
shouldn't
mean,
have doubted it.
I was a very popular streamer back in my day.
So yeah, okay. Eric's now used like 4 minutes of his time, but actually only 2 minutes of his time and 2 minutes of his son's time.
And that's just some of the high you keep from Eric. He is a very intelligent
true.
guy.
Very
He has that ability to read his son's mind, especially and see that his son has made a grave mistake.
He's now actually a full-time Scrabble player. So
That's
congrats to Eric on making that career switch.
Professional.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that. Yes.
Yeah, we thought
Yeah.
Nigel was the only one.
Very
We
true.
usually like to see
Exactly.
professional Scrabble
Eric
players
Goldstein.
be above a certain rating, and we know that it was very impressive, as Eric has not let us forget. That He
Right.
was above 1900 for a
For
time.
10 tournaments.
Yeah,
actually.
but not anymore.
Not
So,
anymore, yeah. I mean,
yeah, so he's
kind of-
slipping.
Wow. He plays Boyar, it looks like.
Wow,
That's a
very
good thing.
interesting.
Honestly, I do like that play from Eric.
I mean, yeah, but he took so
He
long.
really did.
And this is going to still leave him down a little bit more than 30.
Well, but it does. I mean, it gives Noah just a perfect spot to play.
Yeah,
Joe.
so he's asking if the play was good or not.
But he has Vigil. Does he want to play Vigil first through the eye and icing and then keep Jokey? Because if he
Ooh.
keeps that and draws an E, he can get Jokey EY for
Mm.
50 points.
That's true.
That's a great point, Josh.
Now, do we think
There are
that
6
Noah
Eric draws the blank and shows everybody, shows his son.
and we do love to see that. That's really good for content.
It really is.
And it's nice to see somebody who's clearly so much better at this game give somebody who's clearly so much worse that advantage. Because
Yeah, no. I
nobody's
agree.
really going to take anything you can get.
Yeah, that's very true. And Noah has set up Vigil.
Wow, and that's a great play.
Great
savvy
play. Amazing play. That's the best play we've seen so far.
Yeah, Noah not playing too poorly right now, especially after that play of Rhyme, the play of Vigil, very nice.
We may see Eric take the Jokey spot with Putty or Cuddy on this
Mhm.
turn. So it might make sense.
And depending on whether it's Cuddy or Putty, we might see a very high scoring play on the triple. There could be something like Jockeys. There could be
Yep.
something like
Especially
Kurochki.
with what's
You guys know
the last
Kurochki?
level? I do not know
Kurochki.
Kurochki. Reminder, I'm not very good at this game.
Oh yeah, what's your rating?
My rating is quite low, so I'm a 1263 at this point.
Okay.
You know, it's pretty unfortunate. And actually, I was remarking before we came on stream that this is the first tournament I will play where I'm not in a division with Noah Goldstein.
It's so
yeah.
sad.
It is very sad, you know. But you know, he can go lose very badly up in D1 while I hopefully take down D2. So it's okay.
Pirozhki.
That's good too, but there's also,
What are
I
you
think,
talking about?
JKI. I think.
Oh,
A pretty crucial draw now for Eric. We're just going to see if he can draw a bingo. And time is going to start coming into play here.
Oh, is he going to play Pinky IE? You guys think that's a word?
Ooh, I would say it is a word.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too.
Oh,
And
Eric.
two
draws two
S's.
Yeah, that's a good draw. Does he still not have a bingo though? Because he needs kind of a vowel to play.
He
bingo.
does need a vowel, and he's not going to get it here. Pinky IE coming down. That's a very nice play.
Yeah, very nice. Really good word knowledge there.
Yeah.
And will Eric challenge his son?
Oh, that'd be beautiful to see.
No, I don't think so.
He is on hold.
I think
Eric likes to hold, by the way.
He
Eric
does.
does like to hold, but it'll be very interesting to see.
Looks like Noah's going to be drawing. Whether this is a courtesy draw, no way of knowing.
Yeah, there might be a 9 through the IS. Probably not too many S's.
That's a lot. Of
It is a courtesy draw. Okay.
And we are going to see there is an available 9. I have lied. I apologize. Scaliness would be good if gooeyers were good.
Yeah.
But we're not going to see that come down.
Wow.
Be beautiful.
That would be great. Yeah.
I've played scale like before, but not scaliness.
That's great, Josh.
That's very impressive.
That wasn't okay.
No,
Sorry.
we were saying it was
That's
impressive.
cool.
We
Those
love it.
answers
Good
are
job.
so
You did a great job.
sarcastic.
We weren't being sarcastic.
Why don't you just I can't even devote your sarcasm to these guys, okay? I was
Yeah,
just-
no, of
just
course.
trying to-
All right. So Eric Goldstein now pretty deep in the hole. He is nearly 70 points back of his son, which is going to be quite embarrassing for him if he does lose to this clearly inferior player.
Is he gonna see the L? That you can put the L between the A and armed? Is he gonna see that? Like alarmed and
Oh, wow.
like LAS or something?
That would be nice.
That'd be very cool.
Great insertion. And
Oh, thanks.
yeah, good job, Josh. You did good.
Sometimes I have to remind these kids like who I am, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Anyways.
because we do forget often. He's a very forgettable guy.
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
very true. Kind of an out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that's how I think of him,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah. Yeah, I always get those little alerts that say Josh Sokol is live, actor typo is live.
I don't even
And
know
you
who that is, honestly.
And honestly, I sometimes like, what, who?
Right.
Yeah,
Very true.
it's really sad because I see him in person. I'm like, oh, of course, Josh Sokol.
Yeah, no,
Josh,
thanks for
yeah,
letting me
that's
know.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. I might have to change my username. It is
Yeah,
a kind of
maybe
weird
you should
username,
do that.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many more times Eric is going to line up councils on his rack just to show everybody that he had that before. Never played Pinky, but
Yep.
Eric is just bleeding time.
I was gonna say that's something. I'm gonna wonder when is Eric gonna realize that he has 3.5 minutes left on his clock, because I think that's gonna be pretty key to who wins this game. And he's on fire, and now he's on fire.
The board looks pretty bad for S's, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say
Thanks, Sykes.
icings is good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Eric doesn't have to panic too quickly.
Yeah. Well, he does have to get a play down. He does have to get a play down.
Definitely has to do that. Definitely has to do
Yeah,
that.
and that's kind of how Scrabble works. You
That's
know?
very tricky. It's a
Yeah.
great point. It's a great point.
He has
Let's
one
see
S in his
lining
hand.
up.
We're gonna see what he's gonna do, and he's gonna put it back on his rack.
He's gonna play pinkies. It's like
Yeah.
all he can do is extend the word that his son just played on him. Maybe
It's so embarrassing.
he's starting to freak out a little
Yeah,
bit.
he is taking his time, and we do hate to see that because, obviously, I think
And folks, let's keep in mind this is after Eric took 2 minutes of Noah's time
Yeah.
to think on the previous turn.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
he
he
should
should
have
be
under
he should
it.
be well under it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But can you really blame a guy who went? I think it was 3 and 4, 2 and 5,
2 and 5 today.
2 and 5, and I think it was 3 and 4. You
Was it
sure?
3 and 4.
I think went 3 and 4 today.
3 and 4.
3 and 4 both days, I believe. I can fact check that really quickly. He's pretty down in the dumps, and he's really facing a pretty tough field.
Yeah, I'd be mad too if I were him on this.
Yeah, he's lost his 1900 rating, which we
Sure,
know meant a lot to him, and
yeah,
he's going to go
right.
below 2 minutes on this turn if he doesn't get something down. Looks like maybe he sees scaliness. Maybe he's going to try gooeyers, which is no good, as we know. But Noah is
That would be amazing.
Noah is not the Not the best Scrabble player, so we don't know.
Goo years. Like
Gooyers.
yeah.
Gooyers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he plays for us.
It's not as cool as alarms. And laws,
Okay.
but, you know, not everybody's Josh Sokol,
Yep.
you know.
So it's always good to see a play come down. How many points was that? Just out of curiosity.
And so-
15.
Yeah, so that's going to be 15 points for 5 minutes at a time. You hate to see that. And not their best draw.
In class does not. Oh, it does
It
fit.
does, yeah, it does.
All right. And he would see it, I believe.
He does see it.
He definitely sees it. The
Yeah,
question is,
his poker face is so bad.
is Noah
He's
going to
watching.
find a way to block this?
I really don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. You
Yeah,
know, you have a combination of maybe not the best scoring in that situation, with also inferior word knowledge.
It's still
And
Barry
Barry Keith
Still
here.
Barry Keith.
It's how he teleports. It's pretty impressive.
Spleenek?
Is Noah going to find alarms though? He has an L as well.
Mhm.
Very true.
I would
doubt
say
it.
very
I doubt it.
unlikely.
I doubt it.
Yeah, knowing him, knowing his Scrabble level, I would say no, he's not going to find it.
Well, that's not nice, but you know, it could happen.
Yeah,
we'll
he's
see.
the friend of mine,
He's
so it's
got the
okay.
JE set up. We'll see. Does he want to play JEU or JE?
In class hits for a lot of points here. That would be a very
It really
interesting,
does. It's
very
quite a
interesting
beautiful
game.
play, yeah.
Oh, we got friends of Noah in the
We
chat.
have friends of
Friends of
Noah
Noah
in
in
the
the
chat. Now, what
chat.
are they saying?
Yeah, I wonder what they're saying.
Oh,
Put some respect on Noah's name.
Oh,
Yeah.
now, friends of Noah, I apologize. Very, very shadeful.
yeah.
Shadeful. Wow, I have not heard that
It's
one
a
before.
phony. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah,
Really
no
appreciate
good.
it. Shout out to Seth Lipkin, by the way, everybody. Creator of Ulu, and
Hey, what's Twitch
Well,
Tech saying? Are they on our side though?
he decides to play JEU.
Yeah, it's a good play.
I like that. I mean, yeah. pretty
All right,
comfortable.
so now it's going to be a whole new game after in class comes
yeah,
down.
it's gonna be nearly tight.
Oh,
Eric's
let's
gotta
see.
play
I mean,
fast.
Eric
Get
really,
those
yeah,
fingers
and there we
moving.
go.
Let's see if he.
It's gonna hit
Well, hold
For an
on.
old guy, he can really
You
go
can
for it.
correctly
He
designate
is,
the blank.
and he is known to transpose tiles. If people
He
watch
has
it.
not done it here, thankfully.
It's a nice play
Those
for Barry.
91.
We'll see. You know,
And that is going to put Eric Goldstein in the driver's seat, 17 points, off tempo. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's
good
thrilled.
job. He's
And you know,
happy.
and we clap here in the booth. That's
Yeah,
very
great
nice.
job,
play.
Eric.
I mean,
Quite just a great play.
what else can you do if you're Noah here? I mean, you're outclassed, right? You're worse at Scrabble, and you're about to have less time probably by the end of this turn if he doesn't figure something out.
Careful.
Wait,
We had
read
people
through
threaten
that.
to unsubscribe from Let's Play
Oh,
Scrabble.
do not unsubscribe.
You
Do
can
not
unsubscribe
Oh,
from
no.
Axter Type.
You can unsubscribe from Truth Man.
And Eric, I mean, draws just an incredible draw. I mean,
What is that?
Yep.
Funeral.
Yeah, there's an
Does
app.
he have? Does he
He's
have
got the
seven?
blank,
Where's
yeah.
the seven?
Yeah, and
It's
it's blank. And
Oh.
a wow. And a wow.
Oh,
What's skill there? What's skill?
Farnesol.
Farnesol,
Oh
yeah,
my
just play
goodness.
Farnesol. Game may be over.
Oh no, this
And-
is not okay.
And we kind of see here, Eric's getting rewarded for some of those really hard racks he struggled
Very
through at the
true, very
beginning.
true. Yeah,
Right?
it's kind of,
Louis, a really hard rack right there.
you know, we like to talk
FDU
about
was bad.
turnover, right? So and Eric did a great job of playing all 7 tiles on his last turn so that he could go for these valuable tiles still left in the bag.
That's true.
Like,
That's good strategy there. That's
great
good strategy
You
there
should
by Eric.
remember that. It's always
Yeah.
better to play.
Now, I wonder what that said. Eric did not really show it to
He's
the
probably
camera.
saying baby bingo.
Yeah.
It's probably the same thing.
I would hope
He's
so.
probably
I would
talking.
hope so.
He's talking on his son's time. The disrespect.
And wow, and now we see Noah has bled almost 2 minutes here on this turn.
We'll see if Noah finds.
Oh,
like,
and it-
what did he play?
Nothing.
Eric's touching the
Eric's
board.
touching the
Eric's
board. He's doing everything.
He
He's,
really
he's
is.
just he can't just win over the board. He has to distract his
So,
poor son.
Now,
He
if I were
wasn't
Noah
done
here,
playing.
I think I would probably call a director over and wonder how much time
Right.
can he get
That's
for all
very
these
true.
distractions.
I'd
Yeah.
love to see Noah play. I mean, I don't even know. If he wants to block Eric, he should play something like Rui on the bottom of the
Yep,
board.
I would love to see that.
ROUILLE through the L individual.
I
Blowing
know.
up his rack.
We'll
He's looking
see.
at Uri. Oh
Uri.
no, the tile gets stuck
the top
under
gets
the
stuck
board.
and he is in time trouble right now.
he's gonna,
Or-
he's gonna- he has to reach and find his. Okay, he got it.
See if Eric can. Oh, he has it lined up.
Oh yeah.
You know, earlier today, it took Eric upwards of 4 minutes to find the word sentence.
Mm,
Which is a
and
common
for-
English word.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that's a very, very
Yeah.
common word.
It's pretty embarrassing, but it seems he's found this word pretty quickly. So, you know, we'll give him props for that. Great player, this guy, Eric is.
Oh right, correct track. That's just very unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah, Eric's gonna
And has he drawn questions?
Eric's
Yeah,
drawn,
he's
drawn
question.
QZ.
Wow.
QZ.
Wow,
Is he,
maybe is
wait,
he
is he
losing?
stuck with?
Folks, is he losing?
Is he
here?
stuck with both? Is he
No.
stuck with? No, he's not stuck with a Z. Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, and it's
Oh, that's too
and
bad.
now we're seeing, could a better player here find a winning hand game?
No,
I
he's
don't think
I don't
not
think so.
stuck with
He's
the
I
Z.
think he's down too much.
He was so close. to being
Wow,
stuck
and that
with
would have
the
been
Z.
incredible too.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like the last 2 tiles QZ.
Wild.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
That's just pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Hey, did he play
gameplay
Z?
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we see KI.
That was
Oh my
gonna
god, we
slow
have
down.
another Cusick endgame. This is gonna be so hard to.
Wow.
This is gonna be so hard to do. I mean, we know that Eric's gonna win, but we have to try and play it out. So slow. All right, what's been happening?
And Eric's still looking in
Eric has
vain.
his. Oh, we saw NU. Nice. NU setting up
We
left.
like to love to see that.
Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna get this updated. So that Noah doesn't go overtime. Yeah, okay.
What we
Oh, he does go overtime.
we always like to
Oh,
see here. We always like to see optimal play, even in the face of losing.
Very true.
Because in a tournament, for those who don't know, the tiebreaker is spread. So even if you know you're losing the game, if you're Noah here, if this is a real tournament, very important to minimize the
no.
spread.
In
And this
fact,
is
we
going to
may get
be
to talk to these guys.
this is gonna
my
be good.
goodness. Oh gosh, I should leave.
Oh, that was fun.
Double Banks. Yes.
oh fantastic.
Of course. Okay, let me unmute. Oh my goodness.
All right, so are we
Love to
gonna
hear what these guys have to say.
Okay, I'm gonna take control.
take control?
I'm gonna take control.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Noah. That was a crazy game.
This was
Congrats.
terrible. When I dropped the S, that was
How many
bad.
bingos did I miss?
Did I miss the
Um,
bingo?
0.
Noah, I've been complimenting you a lot during the stream, and I would
Yeah,
say
I
you
didn't
actually played. You played a very nice game. Ryan was very good. Vigil was a really nice play, passing up Jokey. So yeah, some pretty impressive plays. But I mean, just outclassed by your father at the end of the day.
Okay. What was the final score? You
When-
lost track.
When I was this right? BEAU?
Who knows if it was right? It was you guys were playing a little bit slow at the beginning there. You did speed up at the end. BEAU, a lot of the plays you made, Eric, were correct, but you took too long to play them, is what I would say.
I'd like to mention.
I want to mention that, yes, Eric stole your time, drew both blanks out of nowhere,
That's pretty skillful.
and barely beat you in the end game.
What was the
So,
final score?
421 for you, 366 for Noah.
376. Oh, 360.
Alright,
We
bro,
apologize. We
Well,
apologize.
did you
Well,
give him the cue?
He stole my time, so 376.
Stole your time, touched the board, was talking, was distracting, like all the things you don't want to see.
So Eric, the question to you is this part of your strategy on how to beat your son at Scrabble? Just
I
overload-
can't beat him legitimately anymore.
That, you
If
know
I don't
what?
distract him, I have no shot. He's
What a
better
humble
than me.
guy.
He sees his better board vision.
Yeah.
He has much better end game. Yeah, so I had to distract him. Otherwise, I have no shot.
Well, okay, let's see. Board vision and end game. Take your last 3 tiles back, Noah, LET. Find a better spot for those 3 tiles.
I had
And
no
it's tough. It's hard. It's hard. But let's see if you can spot this.
Oh, sorry.
That's not.
By the way, while he's looking at this,
What-
fellas, when I played
Wait.
off this S,
Eric,
I
you just
miss a bingo?
pointed it out, and he still didn't see it.
No, I saw that earlier.
No,
No.
that's wrong.
Same spot. Same spot.
Not really same spot. Same area.
oh,
Whoa.
wow,
Good.
that's hard in a quick game
Wait, I think you should play
when I'm
E2.
distracting him.
Yeah, I mean, crazy game. The QZ last 2 tiles. Honestly, I think we had a lot of support for Noah, the new generation. But Eric, you gotta show him your chops. You gotta show him your maturity. You gotta show him what you're made of and
Well,
what he's made of.
I definitely did not show maturity. I may have shown some sort of.
I'd like to add, he almost challenged Butte.
Yeah, I always forget if this it doesn't take an E. So, anyways, no, did I miss the bingo when I played off the S?
That too.
No.
So
We
was
were
that a
thinking you
play?
should play Scaliness through the IS, making gooeyers.
Oh.
Oh.
Would he have seen gooeyers, or would have been too distracted by the 9?
I wouldn't have done that in a fun game like this.
Anyway,
I would have.
this was really entertaining, guys. Thanks for gracing us with your rivalry, and hopefully more rivalrous games to come in the future.
Our last tournament game, he won, right,
Mhm.
Noah?
Yeah, I don't remember a time where I lost.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. I'm gonna sign off very soon. Thanks, guys. Let's bring it into me and the Brasowskis back here. So that was crazy.
That was a great game.
Great game.
That
was a great
was
game.
a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just some fun. This is a sort of after hours content you guys can potentially watch on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel if they leave it running after tournament games. But this is what happens whether or not streaming is happening, right? I mean,
Very
Yeah.
true.
you guys have to
Shenanigans, yeah.
have to come to the tournament one day.
I'd like
and
to
see.
say thank you to Josh for letting Em and I hop in the booth for this game.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
We had a ton of
Thanks,
fun.
Josh, yeah.
Other Josh.
Josh
I didn't
Greenway.
want.
Thank
I
you,
didn't
Josh
want.
Greenway.
I
Thank
didn't
you,
want.
Josh Sokol.
Yeah.
I tried to print it, but it's okay. It
Thanks,
was-
Josh Sokol, for doing the quackle.
it
That
was-
was
Yep, a lot of those big
great.
help.
You did a good job.
And I guess you two, before I sign off fully, what are your expectations for the tournament? Are you excited? Are you gonna have a good time?
I mean,
Regardless, what
so
happens?
if we remember last year, I began my tournament by absolutely throwing the beat down with Josh Sokol in game 1. And then I went like 7-15 from there. So I'm hoping to do better than that. Yeah, that was the highlight.
Yeah.
Yes. Open with the highlight. This time I'd like to close with the highlight. Maybe win the whole thing. We'll
Yeah. So I'm not very good at Scrabble, so I'm still in D2.
see. True.
But the goal here is just to get myself one step closer to being in D1 next year. Hopefully get a good chunk of rating and improve my 5th place finish from last year.
Sounds good. And for everything related to this tournament, be sure to subscribe to the Let's Play Scrabble channel on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you, but this is not where the tournament's going to be streamed from. Tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Will Anderson, I'll just let that sink in, and Charles Ranke will be commentating the beginning of the Albany New Year's main event, so don't miss it. You could sleep through a little bit of it, but you can watch it back. But I recommend watching the entirety of this live stream that is going through to January 1st, because you must have a good excuse for not being here, and you must watch instead of playing. That was very well put, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Great job.
Very well.
Great. Fantastic. So yeah, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, Albany New Year's main event. Maybe some after hours stuff too, but it's going to be some really intense high level Scrabble that hopefully you guys will enjoy. So I'll see you all in the playing room, I guess, because I'm not commentating anymore. Will Anderson, Charles Ranke, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys. Thank you so much to Josh Greenway for producing all of this. I am going to sleep for 12 hours. Goodbye.